Get going. Get going. Doo doo doo.
Before them stood the house of their nightmares.
I dreamt of doors and shadows.
Can't see anything. It's scary as fuck.
I sent out some money looking for some stuff, and I got this package in the mail. We need something else to go with this because we're geeks, but you know what we need? Steve Van Sampson, Curtis M. Lawson, Paul Christian Glenn, Joshua Rex, Raz, Rob Smith.
Good, bad. I'm the guy with the mic.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Thank Cthulhu, it's Sunday, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is, we're starting off our fall season with a padded cell so we can let you guys know what's going on and just aimlessly ramble for the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do.
Welcome to the fall season of Owlite Network. How's everybody doing tonight?
Great. I wanted to share my shirt with you. This is actually Michelle's shirt. As you can see, I've got two giant joints, right? There's a joint in the middle, and it says joint custody.
That's awesome.
It's my favorite thing of the day, so that's what I'm wearing.
Oh, I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts.
Yeah.
Reading is Fun and Mental by Rough House Publishing. Yes. We love them.
So my puppet's coming back. He's decided he doesn't want to only be a Christmas sock, and he wants to venture out into different areas. And we had a conversation today. So he wanted to return to the haunt. So I took him to the haunt today, and he's resting in his he has his own dressing room now. JA sock. And tomorrow he's decided to terrorize employees. So he's going to be jump scaring employees all day from open the clothes tomorrow. And then I've got him to agree to be on the show very soon. So
very
that should be exciting for no one but me.
Well, Ratatosker will be happy to have company. He's like, oh, yes, please.
And I should warn you, Jay Sock is a very special guy. Unfortunately, he has a brother who also sometimes works with the haunt. Fortunately, his brother's not all right. He had an incident during the Great Dryer Wars. It's a whole thing.
Oh, I had to grab
Socks
some
and
booze
dryers
for this
do not go
squirrel.
along.
I was just reading, actually, last night, going through The Hogfather again, book by Terry Pratchett, for those of you that don't know from the Discworld series. And there's an imbalance as somebody is trying to get rid of the Hogfather, which is basically their Santa Claus. And so there's belief is hanging out. And so everything people start trying to think of that could have possibly been believed in starts coming about. And so somebody mentions like, oh, I'm always losing socks. There's got to be something that does that. And so the eater of socks appears, and he's this elephant-looking thing that's just sadly snuffling around in the laundry room, eating one sock out of every pair that's around there. So
That's funny.
I never thought about how terrifying that would be to a sock puppet.
It's just terrifying.
Oh my God.
I've heard all about it nonstop.
Get me.
He never shuts up about it. I do have something I want to share with you guys today.
Yes.
What's that?
The first look of the Hell's Dungeon Freak Show for the 2023 season. I'm only going to share one picture right now. I'm actually talk amongst yourselves because I got to load the picture. I just downloaded it. I'm actually about to turn it into a promo picture probably in the next couple of days. I might enlist Del to help me with that.
I can do that. I'm good at making pictures. I take a picture and I resize it like a mofo, man.
You do. You literally like. The only reason we have a Groupon picture for the hunt on Groupon is because of you, because you finally figured it out for it. I'm not a graphics type of video guy. Okay, I'm ready. You guys ready?
Okay.
Yep. Ready.
This is only a third of only one of the rooms in the freak show. This is the museum side of the freak show.
Oh, wow.
You'll notice our limit configuration there on a shelf, the middle shelf section, for example. There's a lot of beautiful things on these shelves, and they're all relics from somewhere, or so we're pretending they are. But in reality, our freak show is a bunch of assholes. We were there to swindle you. We probably made everything out of chicken wire and plaster and just told you it was real. We do all have medical deformities of some kind, but we paint them and make them look way more than we are. So again, we can steal your money and get drunk after.
That's always fair, you know.
But we put a lot more work in today. We finished the aquatic section of the museum today. We finished the cave. We finished a lot of stuff today, man. Our curtains are all going up this week. In the next couple of days, all our curtains throughout the whole freak show are going up. So it's going to be super claustrophobic this year, tight quarters. I've got a monkey in a cage. I've got all kinds of shit happening, and this is the week where like everything is done, because it's the first year in 4 years that we had our fire permit was done a week ahead of time. We're usually struggling to finish getting our fire permit or getting the temporary one to get the permanent one. The first 2 weeks were open. It's done. We have hired more people than we've ever hired. We've never staffed every single room and had people left over. We do this year.
That's
like
great.
everything that could go and always goes wrong, none of it did. And Fred usually hurts himself the under really bad, like stitches worthy every year. That happened yesterday, and it was our prop master that got it this time. A big old picture frame from a cabin. You have to walk underneath to get in the haunt now. It's really interesting. A picture frame fell off the wall, an old giant one, and someone said, "Look out." So he looked up, and it caught him in the eye and ripped. They had to glue his skin back to his skull over top of his eyebrow, and a bunch of stitches like underneath. Like, no, underneath his eyebrow, but over his eye. It was nasty. So he was the big wound. 2 years ago, it was me because I broke my foot. It's the same one that's still broken now. But, you know. We got all the bad stuff out of it now. The accident has happened. The one bad one a year has happened. Everything's ready to go.
Hopefully no more.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, there'll be minor ones. I mean, I fell down the stairs last Christmas, which is why I scared people with sock puppet, because I physically could not do my job. So apparently it worked out. So. Yeah, we're really excited, man. It's really pumped to see everything. Like, all our builds are done for the first time ever. Like, they're all just done. It's just details. We obsessively clean, even though we're a dungeon, and it doesn't make sense for it to be clean, but it won't be by the time people actually walk through it again. So,
Okay, idea for you. Get somebody who's good with Blender and with a 3D printer and actually make the Raz action figures. You can sell it at the haunt. That like people could go through and pick out their favorite haunt characters.
we'll have like a version that has the Beetlejuice costume, my original Gravedigger, and the JB versions. That would be hilarious, actually.
If you're really fancy, you can get articulated
for my educational stuff. Like, so I'm in my first class about becoming a teacher right now, and I had to do my final. The first half of my final had to be an introductory video for my students. Like, this is, what the things I wanted to teach. This is my teaching style, my personal boundaries, yada, all that shit. And like when I was talking about the About Me section, I've always had the wherever toys are sold, now the Kung Fu action group. That's been in my bio for like I think 2 years now. So I had to include my bio, but I actually, for like I think it's 1.8 seconds, that picture pops up at the end of the bio, and then it's a GIF of Dean Winchester from Supernatural saying "Don't judge me," and then it's the next section. I was really proud of that little spot.
Nice. When we were programming computers back in the day, when it was, you did like the 1 and then the little symbol and like equals this and 2 if this is that, if then or statements and stuff, and you made things go. We do things that were like, a couple of my friends and I that were in the class would set them up so that if it was graphic stuff we were doing, it would show that, and then like every 20 seconds for about half a second, it would flash up, "Give me an A," for our instructor. And it was like, he didn't catch on to it though, really. Like, he would just come over and be like, "Show me what you're doing." We'd put it, be like, "Oh, your monitor's got a glitch or something." And we're like, it's like, if you looked at our program, you'd know what it was. And hopefully you would find it funny, but he wasn't the kind of person to find it funny. So we'd erase that then, before we send it in. But Jenny, Kristin, what's been up with you guys? We chat a lot.
Yeah, I'm exhausted, like bouncing off the walls or off the padded cells today, I guess.
Well, speaking of teaching, I'm going back into that in a little bit. Just subbing though for now. So I was preparing all that to start this week or next week.
That's
and
awesome.
Try to, that way I can still write and everything in the meantime, because full-time teaching is like way a lot of work. Like there's no way I could get any writing time in.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna be hitting you up for
luck with that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Good luck. Yeah. I'll start putting up you should be writing things and I'll send them to you. I have
reminders.
I have tons of them. Yeah.
Well, I have folders and folders of you should be writing over different graphics. Just tell me where and I can send them.
And I just
really
scroll through going, that's
scolding you. I personally like Hannibal. Like, you should really be writing. Okay. That's Mickelson. Oh, I have about 10 of them. No matter what he's doing, cleaning a bloody knife, standing around covered in blood, just being Mads Mikkelsen, whatever. That's fine with me. Yeah.
I gotta switch my brain from haunt mode, dude, because things go crazy. I'm a different haunt Raz is different. Like Amish Raz, is different. There's different versions of me, and haunt version of me is a very terrible person when I'm in character as JB, but when I'm not, like me and my buddy Sam in the Freak Show, like in the Freak Show, we're the only two non-white people in the Freak Show, or all the clown section actually, most of the haunt. So we say very terrible things to each other all day long. I'm talking like really disgustingly terrible things to each other. I mean, that's just our thing. So like that's the last thing that happened before I left the haunt today, and that's still where my brain is. I'm trying to.
Is to not use that here. We gotta be good little rated R people.
Oh yeah.
You can be rated R, but there are lines, folks.
I'm always rated R.
I got dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell us about the doggy.
Yes.
My uncle Josh's uncle had a bunch of dogs, and Martha's been wanting to get the kids another dog since the unfortunate thing happened in Navasota with the other puppy. And today we finally went and got the dog and found out he had his own swimming pool. So luckily they had not marked down at Walmart. So we had to get him his own swimming pool to share with Dante, because I know Dante's going to just go out there and sit with him in the pool, and they're just going to have so much fun. And Dante's like, I got a new friend. I got a new dog.
That's so awesome, man. I love that. We need pictures. You have pictures yet?
I sent pictures.
I have not looked in our chat all day, except for when I was leaving and coming home.
So I need to save them and put it in the...
I will look right now. So I need to see.
Because unless you guys can bring it up, I just put Aunt Corissa and the puppy in the chat because she helped me get a good picture for Mom.
Yes, I got a picture right now. I'm downloading and I will put it on here.
Okay, then I will stop.
And his name is Stubby because his tail, when he was born, his tail was shorter than all the others. So he became Stubby. And he decided he really loved Josh. So he's the one that we chose because he chose us.
That's the best. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Aww. This is Aunt Krysa, and that's red below him, but that's Stubby. He's our new buddy.
Super cute.
I love animals so much more than people.
He looks so sleek too.
Luckily for me, Uncle Benji finally married her, so we have to have a really good person.
Good. Benji, dogs.
Yes. Martha could not say James when she was little, so for some odd reason he became Benji. And everybody else calls him James, but we're the only one that calls him Benji.
Nice. What's the chicken situation?
The chicken situation is after everything, all the signatures, all the talking, they decided they didn't care. They're going to pass it anyway.
Really? So y'all don't know this at home. We've been talking about the chicken thing, basically where she lives. People raise chickens, with COVID and everything that was going on. It's kind of a livelihood for some people. And some rich people didn't like it and decided that people shouldn't do it anymore. And that's what they're listening to. And they've been fighting against that down there, which is utter bullshit. Bullshit.
1 chicken per 1/8 of an acre. And you can only have so many dogs. You can only have so many cats. And there's a lot of people here that are farmers and they raise certain animals.
And this is
they're
Texas
trying
people.
to limit us to what we can have on our farms.
So we need to not have those rules when we buy the ghost town for the company, and we all move to the ghost town and live there. You can just have as many chickens as you fucking want. Then we never have to buy eggs again, and it all works out. Everybody gets their animals, all the animals.
There needs to be some pet policies in place, though, because I have had people that I know who had like 16 cats in an apartment.
So many.
And,
Okay, so
and that's
there's
not
guidelines involving the health and safety of the animals.
good. Yes.
That's where our guide. Fuck the people. There's guidelines involving the health and safety of the animals.
Yeah.
But
That's a given, because that's just a bad situation for animals right there, man.
my
Yeah,
neighbor
you can have
and
outdoor cats. That's
family,
fine. But
my neighbor and our family are taking care of our animals to the best of our abilities,
Yeah.
and it is part of our livelihood. So yeah,
Right.
that's been an annoyance.
It's bullshit.
I hate chickens, but I think that other people should be allowed to have them.
I love chickens.
I-
They're delicious.
They're not my favorite thing to have. Like when they get out, it's aggravating. But yeah, other than that, we need them.
I have a lot of
Yeah.
fond memories of chickens and racing them and all kinds of fun things.
We raised chickens once when we were on the acreage. We had the chicken coop, so we're like, all right, let's go out and get some chickens. And we put the chicken wire, made them a little outdoor area
Yeah,
and
man.
everything from their chicken coop, and had the feeders and everything. And they're so stupid.
It's sometimes more fun to build the
noisy.
coop than it is to actually raise the chickens.
What?
It's sometimes more fun to actually build the inventive chicken coop, than it is to actually raise chickens.
Oh, yeah. And when we were getting rid of them, sending them off to become plucked and edible chickens, there was one that was kind of off. So we're like, okay, we aren't going to send that one along, in case there's something wrong with it. They thought it was croupy. And so we're like, okay. And then, so we just left it in the thing. And I guess nobody thought to go check on it. And so one day in the middle of winter, I was like, oh my God, well, it's probably not going to smell now. So I should go and get that chicken and get it out of the coop, And I open up the door and the chicken's been fucking live the whole time inside the coop. It didn't go out in or out of the door, but the feeder was in there and it had water. So this chicken had been alive for 2 months in isolation inside the chicken coop, and it was healthy as anything by that point. So then it was just the pet chicken for a while, and then I don't know what happened. It's
Droopy
just
the chicken.
one day was gone. Well, we had a dog and a cat that both ran away on Christmas, and I think they took the chicken with them. I'm not sure. It was
that's what happened to the dish and the
chicken was
spoon.
Yeah.
It could have been. I don't know.
Just remember, though, the cheese stands alone.
Yes. And that is one of my favorite Magic cards ever. I love that card. I never owned it, though. But I did have the Burning Cinder Fury of Crimson Cast Fire.
There's
I like to say that one.
a movie called Scorched. It's got Alicia Silverstone, and it's a 90s comedy. Some people from Terry Gilliam, I think, is in it from Monty Python. Big, amazing cast of people. There's just this one scene. It's about a robbery. All these different little subplots are happening. There's this guy in this fucking moped. I just remember he's just riding to the desert, and he gets off of it and it breaks down. He's like, "Fuck this! The cheese stands alone." He just picks up the moped, throws it in the desert, and walks away. And that's a whole scene. For some reason, that's what sticks with me, man. It's
I never saw that movie. I was
hilarious.
a big Alicia Silverstone fan, but I don't even remember that movie at all.
Yeah, it was very obscure because she was in it, but it wasn't one that got a lot of publicity when it came out.
Okay.
It was towards the end before she stopped kind of acting there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood with... It was her that was in the Aerosmith videos for a time.
Yeah,
right?
crazy.
Them.
Yeah.
Her and Liv Tyler, yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out if it was a weird, wow, she's young, but okay thing or not,
Well, that got her one of her
As far
first
as-
movies, Crush.
Yeah,
she
I
had
have that
depression.
movie.
The
Yeah.
babysitter. That was a good
With
one.
Carrie
Like,
Ellis and
oh yeah, and I fucking love him, man. But
Yeah.
the death scene that they had with the bees was like, what the fuck? Like she was psychotic in that movie. She was good, like really good at it.
I'll check that out.
It's a good movie.
I do enjoy her.
She's great.
Nice.
I've seen everything she's ever done. One of my
So-
favorites probably Blast from the Past, though. It's her man. Her and Brendan Fraser in Blast from the Past was just beautiful. That was a beautiful movie.
Is that the one where his parents take him down into the
Fallout shelter.
fallout?
And they live down there for his whole life until he's an adult.
Yeah.
And-
Okay.
yeah.
My mother loves that movie. She's
It's a
always
good movie,
like,
man.
she's talking about it a lot. She loves it. I'm like, wonder if I should have her watch Cloverfield Lane or whatever the one was with whichever the second one was where John Goodman was in it, and they stayed
yeah.
down
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It had an address.
Yeah.
13. Was it 13? No.
It might have been 13. I don't remember what it was now, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
called
the
Mockingbird
sequel.
Lane. Something like it
I'm gonna Google
almost
it.
reminds you of the Monsters or something like that. I don't know. It's like an address. It was good.
I'm gonna look.
That was a real that was a kind of fucked up movie. I wasn't like
10 Cloverfield Lane.
Thank you.
That's what it
I was actually thinking of the actual address of the Monsters house. That's what I was reciting just now. Fuck. That's their address.
I think I love you more now.
I love the Monsters, man.
Oh, speaking of love, okay, so we can't hear him right now, but I know Friday can hear him over there. It's cicada season. And I found out one of my friends actually just texted me, I saw, who lives in Malaysia, and they don't have cicadas in Malaysia, apparently. I
That's sad.
did not know that. I was like, doesn't everybody have cicadas? That's so weird. And so I told her that I would record them for her a while ago, and then I finally got out to Mom's deck, and they'd hatched, they've hatched
Yeah.
13
It's
or
one of the
17
smaller
years
birds
ago,
this
but
season, isn't it?
they emerged. This year isn't a cicada season. Next year we get one 17-year and one 13-year at the
Yeah,
same
so
time.
it'll be
So it's
crazy
gonna be
next year.
huge.
So
Yeah, I know it's between us and you is like the huge cicada
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, I love it. I will literally just drive around, listen. It's my favorite time to go camping. Like I love the fucking sound, man.
Yeah,
There's also a whole bunch of businesses that do cicada-based products during the big ones like this. I'm talking like the local dairy does cicada ice cream.
yeah.
They make jewelry out of cicada shells. I mean,
Ew.
it's cicada fucking insanity around here during the big ones.
Now, see, I don't like the shells, but I do enjoy the dead, actually fully matured
Yeah.
cicadas. And this is I was talking to her. I sent that to her, and then one showed up on my doorstep, or my doormat right in front of my door in my apartment building. I was like, well, that's weird. And so I picked it up because it obviously needed to be in my shrine, because it was like, hi, I am here.
Yeah.
I am for you. Look at me. I have a fuzzy white tummy and I am cute. So I was like, okay. So I put it there.
I'm sure it said every bit of that. Yep.
It did. Right here, it said it to me.
I believe that.
And the moth was like, oh, good, I have a buddy now, because I have this huge moth that's in this like bit of horn that I have. And so I'd sent her the recording. She was like, and I was like, and you can hear the traffic in the background of the interstate for comparison. And you know how they make so much noise. There's this brief crescendo, and then they're just loud for like about a minute or two, and then they just stop.
Oh yeah.
And then there's like the dead silence where you can hear like crickets and anything else, and then they'll start up again. And I was like, I couldn't get you a full cycle of it because I couldn't catch right before they'd get going, but I got her like a minute, and I ended it with when they stopped. And she was just like, oh my God, how do you put up with that? And we're like, actually, most of us enjoy it. It's really cool to listen to. I've been sitting.
You're
on
a
the
nature
phone
person,
before out
especially.
there, though. Yeah, I have sat on Mom's deck though when they were going like talking on the phone with somebody, and they were like, is there a car alarm going off? What is that noise in the background? Because it keeps starting and stopping, and it's super loud. And I'm like, no, it's just the cicadas, man. And I looked it up because I wanted to see. They get up to 10 or over. No, they reach over 90 A-weighted decibels, which is as loud as a lawnmower, a motorcycle, or a tractor.
They put me to sleep. It's white noise for me.
Yeah, and they are so pretty. And I got one today when I got home. There was another one waiting for me. And so I'm going to try to show them. And this is like their fuzzy white belly, and that's kind of sad because it's dead. But they have... if I can get it in the right camera angle.
Someone's
They're
gonna
really
watch this and break their
beautiful.
screen because they're terrified of cicadas.
They're really beautiful, though. They have these
Yeah.
nice faded wings, but I can't show him properly, but he's this really, really pretty green, and he's got a couple spots on him. And he's just a gorgeous little guy, and he's going to go up there too. But I wanted to show because I didn't realize that people don't have cicadas everywhere.
Yeah, I
So
didn't
people
even think
don't see
about it
them.
until you just said that,
Like,
to be honest.
like I mean, they get from this big to like this big, and I've gotten bruises from them because when they get buzzing, like if they see a light, and I'm sitting on the deck under the porch fan, and they'll start swooping, and then they'll like bounce off the walls and stuff. And like I've had them hit me and leave bruises
They've
because
knocked
they
cigarettes right
ricochet
out of my
that
hand, just
hard.
flying by and
Oh yeah. And worse than June bugs by like 20, but I'm not scared of cicadas like I'm scared of June bugs.
Yeah, they're not as
Um,
creepy.
yeah. My grandmother used to come up. They had their house in town, but they also had a cabin down by the Missouri River. And she would go outside at night and pick June bugs up off of the screen door and then come inside where we'd be playing cards and stuff with everybody. And this is when we were little ones. And she'd like pull our hair back and be holding on to the June bug. Like, I'm not going to break the cicada, but by between the head and the abdomen and the thorax, I guess, and stick them in our ears. And we'd feel these little legs like going into our ears, and you just
Ew.
had to freeze so that
no
it
wonder
didn't
you're
get in your ear.
terrified.
And then she would squeeze them, and they scream. Like, so I'd have this like screaming, squirming June bug in my ear, and Grandma would just start laughing hysterically. And it was just like, Jesus Christ, this is the same Grandma who shot her teeth out at us when she'd recite the Little Orphan Annie poem and stuff. And
I mean, I shoot my
so
teeth at people. That's just for fun.
she'd do it just to scare the shit out of us before she was like, here's your bedtime story. Wow, look, teeth, go to bed. You know? My teeth go flying. Ha ha ha. But yeah, but the other thing that cicadas do that fuck with me, and June bugs do the same thing, but cicadas are so much louder when they get stuck on their backs and they'll kind of start spinning around and they're buzzing their wings. Those things are so loud. And if you haven't, just one is just so loud, it's just terrifying. And then they go ricocheting off of stuff until they get their sense of balance back.
Yeah.
But
Their
yeah.
sound when they do that is almost the same volume as a hummingbird's wings.
I never hear
Yeah.
hummingbird wings, but these are
Really?
like they're vibrating off the ground and stuff too.
You can
so
like,
they're like,
man, if you're close enough to a hummingbird, 'cause my grandma used to have hummingbird feeders, or my mom did for a while, and like sometimes if they're like into the feeders, you can walk right up on them, they won't even move. And like when you get close, no, I'm thinking the same. Yeah, I'm thinking of it right. It's them and dragonflies. You can hear the dragonfly's wings, but to hear a hummingbird's wings, you got to be like right up on the hummingbird. But when you're up on the
okay.
hummingbird, it's loud as fuck. Whereas a
Yeah,
dragonfly, you can hear it from everywhere.
I've heard dragonflies. We watched one once that was just taunting all of the fish out on the lake. It was like dive bomb. That there were other dragonflies that were out, and one of the carp or whatever they have in the lake would start coming up to get it, and this other dragonfly, this like huge, he was like alpha dragonfly, would swoop down at the fish and like bop them, and they'd go away instead of just chomping him. And I was like, holy shit! So we were recording it, like this fucking dragonfly chasing away fish. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I've never been close to a hummingbird. I've been close to hummingbird moths, which are really cool,
Those are cool
but
shit.
never an actual hummingbird. I guess I'm just not sneaky enough.
It's the
That
vibration that you can like feel and hear. Since which their wings is like it's a definite sound, man. Oh, I
and
forgot
I
to show you guys
and
something.
I
I'm gonna bring
went
this
to
the
one.
picture thing back up because I forgot to point something
Oh
important
yeah.
out. If you look in the very center shelf that's blue, that is a skeleton owl. It's right next to the box, the Hellraiser cube.
Yes.
Oh,
That
okay.
is
I was
actually a
seeing that as
skeleton owl.
green.
He's our mascot
Okay.
for the whole freak show.
That's cool.
Well,
See,
it
I
was
see
like
red, purple,
the
green.
Alloy Freak Show.
Yeah, I completely forgot because our sign. I'm gonna get other little pictures like this in other sections of the freak show and show you guys all of it as we go. This is the one we took today because I turned all the lights out to work on some lights in other parts of the building, and we realized that we were gonna be on all the dark. So me and Sam and Cameron ran back there real quick and turned all our puck lights on that we had assembled, and like that's how we got the picture because we hadn't seen it yet. This is the first time we'd seen it without all the house lights on.
Nice. It looks gorgeous.
It's so much fun. Jeff Goldblum is on our freak show. Did I tell you this?
No.
No, you did not.
So they sold a shower curtain for a very long time. It's not the outer curtain, like the fabric outer curtain of a shower. It was Jeff Goldblum as Dr. Malcolm in Jurassic Park. And this is an outer one you can buy. Well, they found one at a thrift store, like randomly when we were looking for like curtains and stuff, and bought it. So in the bearded lady section, in her bedroom section of her scene, it's the whole thing with him posing like that. It's hilarious, dude. It's just so now we have to tell everyone that goes through like for a visit when we do our tours that the freak show now has 50% more Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, I don't know. I've had some kind of odd shower curtains before, but I've never had Jeff Goldblum just hanging out while I'm trying to shower.
It's the replica of the picture that he has commissioned, like to be made of him. It's that one. It's hilarious. And Fred was like,
I never
"Why is this
thought
here?"
that.
He walked through with me and he's like, "Why is this here?" I was like, "Because it's the bearded lady and it's her bedroom area." He's like, "Oh, it's one of that." He's like, "I was like, I'm guessing so." He's like, "All right, I'm not gonna question that. We're just gonna leave that on the wall and keep moving."
That's like when pardon me. Just
He's like, "But it looks too new. And it's wrinkled here, so I'm gonna bring in a steamer so we can unwrinkle it." Nice.
My mother has this thing. You guys don't know about it, but you guys well, most of you do, I think. She loves Tom Ellis, who played Lucifer on the show on Netflix, and she got really into the show. And like I'd watch part of it, and then she would watch it, and she would just like start calling me in the middle of the night, like I'm hanging out doing whatever, and she knew that I'd always be up. So she would just start either sending me lines from Lucifer or actually just stopping the show, rewinding it a few, then recording it on her phone and sending me clips from the Lucifer show. And then she, sorry, Mom, I'm going to roast you here, but you did talk about his bum and him crawling out of the hot tub once or twice.
Yeah.
So
she might be on one of the new shows we're doing. If she does, I'm gonna have to ask her about that.
Don't please.
I'm not really going to.
Yeah, don't.
I'm screwing with you right now. I'm not really gonna ask her.
Yeah,
about it.
we teased her a lot about it, but she was being funny.
Hi, Karma. We've never officially met before, but why don't you talk to me all about Ellis's ass? I mean, we'll do a whole paranormal subject on it. Just.
Well, yeah, so she got to watching. Her favorite thing was all the Britishisms and stuff, and so she'd bring up like, wait, do you know what they call this in Great Britain? I'd like, yes, I do. It's this. Oh, and do you know what the definition of this term is? I'm like, well, actually, yes, I do. And so we were out snobbing each other, kind of. But for Christmas, my stepsister went and bought her a Lucifer blanket that was huge, and it was just him and stuff. And like, I sent her a picture for her birthday one year with him politely covered a bit, but like laying out mostly naked with like a happy birthday, Karma, and but so she had this Lucifer blanket to cover herself up with, but she hung it over the banister so it was more like a tapestry to see. And then my stepsister also got her a 3-in-1 frame and put her boys on each side and a picture of Tom Ellis in the center, so she could put up on her mantle and have like her two grandsons and Tom Ellis. And it's like, these are my two grandsons and that's my boyfriend. So there you go.
That's awesome, dude.
I have not seen Lucifer yet.
Oh, I haven't watched the last season because I'd watched all of it up to then and then I got behind. But with the writer's strike going on, I'm probably going to start finishing everything that I started. And do you have the thing where if you've watched a series like all the way up to a certain point and then you haven't seen it for a couple of years and it's like, oh, I need to catch up, you have to start at the beginning again?
Yeah. I have to re-binge everything. Yeah.
Sometimes I do it.
Yeah.
Like with Stranger Things, every time a new season comes out, I just automatically start from the beginning. Like I wait until I know the show's going to come out. I start a couple weeks early and I just, if it's a show I like enough, I'll just every season just do that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do that with Vikings,
Just need to see that.
Mr. Robot, and Lucifer, for sure.
I've still never seen
And
Mr.
then-
Robot. It's on my list though because I love him so much.
Yeah, I haven't
love
seen
that
it
actor.
either.
Make sure you're in a good mental place when you watch it, seriously.
Oh, so don't ever watch it
Basically. Yeah.
because I made that mistake with BoJack Horseman and that that cartoon
It-
fucking wrecked me, dude.
There, there is a lot of unreliable narrators from a bunch of different directions, as well as mental dysphoria, and yeah, so it'll fuck you up in the head, even if you aren't fucked up in the head. So if like seeing people going through huge stages of weird mental dysphoria and stuff like that affects you, don't watch it.
So if I am gonna watch it during haunt season.
Sure.
Okay, that's like
I
all my
mean,
free therapy, you know. So
Rami Malek and Christian Slater, you can't really fucking go wrong.
And dude, Christian Slater is a favorite actor of mine. Not my absolute favorite, but like he's a top tier for me. Even when he was struggling with his addictions, I still loved him as an actor.
Total side note, did you see him in the movie? I think we've talked about this before, where he's a writer and he's going to this small town, and they're convinced that he's there because somebody put a hit out on somebody and he was there to kill someone, and he is then like, oh, actually I came here to kill myself.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I do remember that one. We were talking about the other day.
Yeah. And so this whole small town starts, like, some of them are trying to help him. Some of them, they like put him up and they're like, so how are you going to do it? You know, what are you going to do? They have an ongoing bet, and there's like a table in town where it's like, okay, pull up, guess what day he's going to kill himself, and then guess what method he's going to use to kill himself, and all this stuff. And some of them are trying to like pull him out. It's such a good movie though, because it is depressing, but it is hysterical at the same time. There's just a bunch of really dark humor in it that I don't think everybody could have pulled off that character. He has that certain kind of bit of edge to him that can just drag you down further than a lot of people can. So.
Oh yeah.
I shot Patty the invite in case she wants to come on.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Cool. Yeah, come hang out, dude.
In fact, that's Patty right there.
Yep.
Yeah, Christian Slater is awesome, man. My the first drama film I ever saw as a kid, because again, I've told you guys, growing up, I got showed horror and that was it. And then I watched a comedy, but I think I was like about 13 or 14, and I saw his movie The Untamed Heart, where he had the baboon heart, and it was him and Marissa Tomei, and I was like, holy fuck, this movie it's so good. It's so well written, and I'm tearing up. I'm like, what the fuck is happening to me right now? Because I'm not emotional, and that was it. I'd never like teared up in a movie, and I was like, what the fuck? Later, I found out that writing was absolutely terrible. When I learned about what writing was, I learned that it was actually very terribly written. It relied on a lot of crazy, outlandish tropes, but it didn't matter. It was the acting, it was the everything put together. It hit me, man. I still go back and watch it every now and then. Don't watch too many dramas, but when I do, that's usually top of my list.
What's the other one with? It's right over there. I just can't read.
Oh, right over there.
Right over there.
Over there.
He meets a girl. He's into old kung fu movies and stuff, and he meets a girl at the kung fu movie theater, and it was somebody who his boss set him up with, and then they have to go do some heist or something, and his dad is like Christopher Walken, and I'm gonna have to look that.
True Romance. I think it's True Romance. Well, you're actually describing two different movies. You're partially describing True Romance, but you're also describing a Sean William Scott movie from years ago that had nothing to do with the heist. But he also did another heist movie later.
It wasn't a heist. I was wrong. He accidentally steals a bunch of cocaine.
Cocaine? That's True Romance. Yeah, cocaine is True Romance.
I just know that there was some issues with.
Yeah, there's a drug heist.
And, like,
technically,
there's the guy who's all.
We can call it a heist.
Yeah, there's somebody's an actor and he's got a junkie living on his.
Yeah, True Romance is a good movie, man.
Yeah, they're here. Oh, they're gone now. Yeah.
I just liked him in Cuffs when he was younger. He was
a
police
Cuffs.
officer.
Yeah, it was so funny.
My mom's
It's one of my faves. Yeah.
When they open I've made her the GIF a couple of different times when he like opens the door with the gun and the one guy just goes like, like, what is with you?
Oh, Patty's here.
Yay!
Hey, Patty.
Patty.
Hello.
So there is one Christian Slater movie that I always hesitate to talk about because it has Tara Reid in it, and it was an adaptation from the video game Alone in the Dark. the movie was so goddamn bad. Like, she was supposed to be a scientist, and she's just not a scientist. Like, there's nothing about Terry that just screams scientist to me. And twice she's been a scientist. Once was in that movie, and it was so ungodly bad that they did it again on purpose for Sharknado just to make fun of it.
I remember that movie. Yeah.
And Christian Slater's role was so good in Alone in the Dark, but she was so bad, and her character was meant to carry the movie that it just, I could not even enjoy it. I liked her comedy stuff, but like, and Sharknado, I'm a sucker for. I love all those movies, but like, she almost ruined Christian Slater there for a minute with Alone in the Dark.
Oh, you can't.
I can imagine.
Oh, she tried hard. I guess she didn't try hard, and that was the problem. But either way,
I'm going to hop onto Discord and contact one of my old friends from my gaming days, because it's been a while. Because I swear to God, I thought I was gaming with Christian Slater because his voice is exactly like his. The sarcasm, everything, the kind of, he has that really interesting tonal quality, kind of almost a bit of a rasp that goes in there.
that's funny to me because there's a movie about these like gamer nerds that get together and they decide to go to a gaming convention, and most of them have never met before. Well, they've been thinking they've actually been gaming with Casper Van Dien the whole time. Then Casper Van Dien shows up, and they realize that they haven't been gaming with him. They've actually been gaming with his stepson, and he was using his father's voice or his stepfather's voice and picture for the whole time.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I don't remember the name of that movie. I just remember it was a thing that happened.
I had one of my internet daughter from Forsaken World. I got to hang out with her when she was a kid, and as she grew up and stuff, and gave her all this responsibility because she was really, really good at what she did. So I had her running whole full PvP battles for the weekly LAN things when she was 15, telling everybody else what to do because she could do it and she was that good at it. She was a very good strategist and everything. But she had never heard him talk before. And so I'm like, okay, before you hop into this chat, I want you to listen to these clips. And I just had her listen to two little couple minute scenes from Turn Up the Volume. Was it Pump Up the Volume or Turn Up the Volume? Pump Up the Volume. I don't know. For some reason, I thought that was a rapper one or something. But I had her listen to two little scenes from that and one from Heather's. And then I was like, okay, now hop into chat. And she hops in and this guy starts talking and she was just like, oh my God, you were right. That is exactly what he sounds like. I'm like, right?
That's the one where he's the DJ, right?
Yeah, he's the pirate radio.
Yeah, the pirate radio, yeah. Fun fact, though, that is also the name of a song by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Okay, Pump Up.
Damn. Yeah.
That was...
That one, yeah.
I sadly know all the lyrics to that one.
Yeah. I've got new internet tonight, by the way, guys. So
I can tell because you're actually coming through clear, and when you talk, your lips are completely matching your words that are coming out now the first time.
Yeah.
We're now internet twins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had, for those of you guys that don't know, I tried to go get T-Mobile because my building doesn't allow fiber, so I've been on DSL the whole time I've lived here, and that's almost 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And
she has to walk uphill both ways when she was
actually
using
it is 20 years. But it was an uphill battle, that's for sure, because I had for a while I was doing okay on speeds, and then when they put in fiber, they took the DSL and made everybody just 25 down and 2 up because they got rid of the better packages because they were like, fuck it, we only give those to people with fiber. So
you'll notice in every promo we have for the network, if she's on it, she's the only one that has never, ever matched her lips. There's nothing I can do about it. I've tried pulling the audio, relayering it all. I once spent I think it was 11 hours straight trying to fix it until I realized, no. There's no. I'm done.
I'll go through and revoice those parts and we can
we'll just re-record them one day and nobody will notice, I'm sure.
They won't.
I'll notice.
Steve Van Samson.
Exactly.
And get it right. It won't look weird. But yeah, so I took my little thing and I was like, last speed test on Windstream. 25 and 1.5. First speed test on T-Mobile. over 100 down and at like 20 up, and I was like, yeah, and then that kind of went away, but it's still going between like
honestly, as long as you at
the
least have a
waves a little
solid 5 to 10 up, that's been
Yeah.
your problem the whole time. It's not been your downloads between your uploads speed that's been the problem for streaming.
Yeah, it went from being 20 up, but it's still like it's between like 10 and 13
That's good,
after
man.
it's going. So I'm like,
Yep.
but I
Pro
had some.
Twitch streamers say between 5 and 10 is what most of them have.
It took me 3.5 months before they were finally like, you just need to go into the store, because they were trying in their fraud department. A gentleman whose name we will not disclose, somehow in a store in Portland, Oregon, used my social security number 11 months ago and has been enjoying T-Mobile with my social security number. So
Wow,
Wow.
no,
that's terrible.
yeah, that prompted me because of him to do a credit score check.
Yep. I remember that
And
night.
I have a 750 credit score, so that's
Yeah.
cool. And it didn't show any issues. So I was like, all right, and so did it. But talking to him, even with the guy in the store, it took us 2 days to get through it, because he's like, okay, no, this is a different person. I'm looking at her.
Yeah.
I'm looking at her license. I am looking at her social security card. She is
physically
here.
in my
That
storage.
is
She's
not
real.
Yeah, I'm sending you pictures. She is right here. And then, like, even today, after they'd gotten it out of the system, had called me yesterday and said it was ready. I had to wait till today so I get a ride. They get on the phone with me and they're like, okay, so now we see that they talk to him, but then they talk to me again. They're like, so we see that you've had an account here previously. I'm like, no, I have not.
Never.
We've spent over 3.5 months working on this, and this guy's. So I'm like, they still think that I used to have an account. Give it here. I told you, so. But thank you, Angel, at T-Mobile over on 48th and O Street in Lincoln, Nebraska, because you, sir, are a saint. You talk to
that's
them
amazing
over
customer
and
service
over
right there, dude.
and over. Yeah. But hey, so now I fit. So new internet and new shows coming up because we're in a new season.
Yeah. Only 2 new shows, and one of them isn't really new. It's just returning for the first time on our network.
True. But I think we should talk about them because we're going to be taking Unwrapped off as a regularly scheduled project and changing that into when somebody is getting something cool that they can unwrap and they want to share, so that we aren't out buying stuff, because unless somebody would like to send us things to unwrap, because that's cool. We would love that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll promote the hell out of you if you do it, but otherwise going out and spending $50 to $100 a month is a little strenuous.
I thought about getting a box that's just red from people all the time. There's actually a subscription box for people parts, and one of them is teeth. And I'm like, okay, I get the oddity subscription box. It might happen to come with teeth, but an entire subscription box just built around random dead people teeth just was like, oh.
And here's
that's kind of creepy. That's a little creepy.
My sister's father-in-law collects teeth and other things that have been excised from his family and friends' bodies and turns it into jewelry and stuff.
So okay, now that's kind of cool.
Yeah, my sister for Christmas one year got hoop earrings with teeth hanging from them. And she was a sport and put them on, and she's just like,
I'd wear the shit out of that.
I'm like, I would wear those. My ears.
There's a difference between getting a box every month that's jewelry made out of teeth than just a box of loose teeth.
Yeah.
When they're loose teeth, it's weird. When they're jewelry or they're made into something, even though they're from dead people, for some reason just makes them automatically like cooler to me. I don't know.
Afraid of that so bad because of Tooth Fairy. With tiny kids, you get the idea of who. Yeah, they're gonna find them one day.
Yeah. I think if I got that box, I would just randomly, like, anytime I would start to get into an argument, just reach into my pocket and just throw teeth at him and walk away. I feel like that would just solve any argument that would happen to me. Here's a handful of loose teeth.
We had this special box for our teeth, so the Tooth Fairy. Mom saved all of our baby teeth.
No, I had this image of this is the family tooth box.
They made like little containers that were like decorated and stuff, and it was like
my mom had that for some of ours, like the first couple teeth we lost or whatever. She did a thing for it.
Yeah, she would just they sat up on the windowsill, and the Tooth Fairy would take the teeth from under the pillow and give us the money, and then she would put them in the box for Mom to save them.
Why do all our biggest myths to appease children? Why are they almost all based on breaking and entering?
Yeah,
Like
that's a good question.
Santa, you know, the Easter. I still don't understand the Easter Bunny. I just don't get it. Are they breaking? Is he breaking into my house to steal the eggs, or were the eggs always his? And I just did him a favor and painted them. I don't get it. But then Santa breaks into my house all the time. He leaves shit. But what's he taking?
Cookies and milk and carrots.
Yeah,
and
But
peanut
have you
butter.
ever actually gone through your house item by item after Santa's came? How do you know that other things aren't missing from your home?
You don't.
Yeah,
The dresser people
expect him
takes
to
them
take
off.
the cookies and the milk, and you think that's it, so you just don't think to look. But for all you know, dude, he's robbed you half blind, and you just don't know because he's got these new things for Christmas, and you're like, okay, all the spots are filled.
The dressing people are stealing my RAM, by the
Yeah.
way. Raz had to fix that for me.
I did. I had to fix that.
I kept going through and I would be like, I just upgraded the hell out of my computer, and it's like, you have 250 some
It wasn't your RAM. It was
Yeah,
your it was your hard drive.
hard drive. Yeah, you have
Hard drive
256 gigs or something, and you have 2 available. And
Yeah,
it's like, what?
and it wasn't until like a week or two ago that I finally realized what the problem was. Like, that might be on my end. They're probably burning the house down upstairs as we speak.
Okay.
Matt's been rolling dice again.
Oh, goddamn.
Nice.
I'm gonna mute this real quick. Hold on. You guys talk.
Chores this morning. It's
Coach
the
stop.
day of random kid, so we had them throw the dice. If you got odd or even, you did a chore, depending on which one you got. So yeah.
Nice.
I've been doing biking funerals for pet chickens because my daughter's pet chicken died, so we had to send the chicken to Valhalla.
Nice. I love that.
That is
I don't.
Did you make a little boat? And
No,
And
we
do
just put it on the wood in supernatural hunter style and
Oh, you
set
funeral
it
planner
aflame. Yeah,
Gotcha.
because that was to keep the predators from digging it up, because otherwise burying it.
Yeah.
If we'd have buried it, they'd have dug it back up, and that would have been another trauma.
The greatest thing about a chicken funeral is that you can build a funeral pyre on a grill, so that when the kid goes to bed later, I mean, you've worked up an appetite.
No.
I'm joking.
Yeah, no, that would not have gone over well.
That is why the cows were named Freezer Pack 1, Freezer Pack 2, and Freezer Pack 3.
Well,
Yeah,
this one's Tyson.
unfortunately-
This one's
come on.
Yeah, this one was unfortunately named Nugget, and that would not have gone over well.
See the next day I'd be hey, with some chicken nuggets.
Yeah, we decided that we were all hungry and did send mom to Walmart to get frozen foods run instead of cooking.
Yeah.
And chicken was off the menu. We were picking foods that did not have chicken in it.
I would have gotten my daughter chicken nuggets to fuck with her, but they would have at least been the dinosaur one, so she would know that it wasn't her chicken that I cooked, you know. Plus, you know, if I'm going to eat a chicken nugget, I like the dinosaur ones. I'm not going to lie. That's what I eat. I eat the
They
dinosaur
have
shaped ones.
ghost-shaped ones right now.
I like to make the little sounds before I bite their heads off, you know.
They have what shaped ones?
Well,
Ghost-shaped. Halloween-shaped nuggets.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I saw those in the store the other day. I want them.
Did you see the
normally we get her the spicy ones. I mean, but right now, that's not going to work either.
Did you guys see the ad that I posted up? There's a wine for anybody else who wouldn't be just looking at my Facebook page called 19 Crimes, and Snoop Dogg bought it. And they have this awesome thing where you can get an app on your phone, and when you hold it up to the bottle, the bottles have pictures of people that were criminals way back in the day. And now they have Snoop and Martha and a couple other people on them too. But if you hold the app up over the phone, all of a sudden your phone, the person on the picture starts talking to you, and they're moving around and doing their thing, and they tell you all about what crime they were convicted of and what they were sentenced to and everything. And they're really cool bottles. And for Halloween, they've released a Frankenstein and a Dracula one.
I don't even drink wine, but I want them now.
I saw that on your page, and I was like, They probably don't have that in my area either.
They probably
Yeah,
have
I-
in mine. I just don't drink wine, so I just don't really. I don't really drink much at all anymore.
You can look on the site and it will tell you, like, you can click on that specific bottle of wine, put in a zip code, yeah, and like how many mile radius, up to 100-mile radius. I'm assuming some of them might not be carrying them since it just was released, so I might wait a week and see if, they get in and shipping. Otherwise, they will mail order them to you. And
What is
that's
the
one that
name of it?
19
19
Crimes.
crimes.
19 Crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do a whole lot of drinking either. I mean, my daughter bought. Okay, my daughter's 19, so the pet chicken thing. It sounds like it's a kid thing, but she's autistic, so that's why.
Yeah.
She bought a bottle of wine like early June for all of us to drink, with dinner, and I'm telling you, that bottle of wine is still in the back of the fridge, over half full. The three of us just don't drink.
Yeah.
That is now cooking wine.
We got like a 12-pack of different flavored Smirnoff ice cans. We went on vacation like a month ago when Brooke and Matt got engaged, and it's just fucking wine coolers. We bought a 12-pack. We were gonna smash them all by the pool one night. There are still like 6 of them left because we do these things where we'll get a bottle of alcohol. We're gonna drink tonight, and we'll buy it. And we'll look at it like, yeah, my stomach's not cool today, and then she'll just sit there for like a year. And
I bought a case of beer, Youngling, a case of beer for 4th of July last year. That's still sitting in my living room. I haven't even opened it.
we were gonna throw a big party when we our first New Year's in our old apartment. Dude, we must have gotten like 14, 15 different bottles of liquor, all these Lanklers, all this stuff. We had this party. Everybody came over, and we had people that were like drinkers there, and they just didn't really drink much. We mostly just smoked our brains out. And then those bottles, it took a little over 3 years to finally. And then when we left that old apartment, no, that's right. When we left that old apartment, there was still like a bottle and a half left on the shelf that hadn't been touched. We just left it there. Like, it's good. They can have it. When they clean the apartment, what's left to clean, they can just treat themselves.
Honestly, we've got sake downstairs. We'll use that to cook more often than not. There's spiced rum over in Joe's room, which,
what kind?
Again, Captain Morgan.
Okay. Yeah, Captain Morgan's okay.
Yeah.
I think he's got some scotch over there. I don't know what kind on that.
I love a good scotch. Actually, I so really get a good scotch.
You have to have a good scotch, though, or else it's...
I'm pretty sure it's a good scotch, but it's one of those things that neither of us have really been drinkers.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I mean, if you get scotch, you're not doing it to get drunk. You're doing it to enjoy it and sit down with, you're not drinking scotch to get drunk. That defeats the purpose of it.
Exactly.
That's what I do with my bourbons usually, is just sit and sip. And then one night I didn't, and I was like, I'll just finish this bottle off. I'm fine. And then I got drunk for the first time in a very long time because I'm a sipper. And I haven't drank bourbon again for a while. Like, I quit drinking completely for just about 10 years, but all the COVID funerals, I broke.
If I'm gonna get drunk, I'll go with, like, I don't do Jack Daniels, with the exception of Gentleman Jack, because Gentleman Jack is like a more refined version of Jack Daniels. It's really nice. Then they make it, but it's like a way more high scale version of Jack Daniels. If I get
Jack Daniels, my back is out and I'm looking for painkillers. That's exactly what Jack Daniels is.
Gentleman Jack has that a really smooth, nice flavor. Like it's a really nice flavor going into it. And it actually mixes way better with Coke. Like way better than like actual Jack does. It's brilliant. It's only thing I'll mix with Coca-Cola now. But if I want to get shit faced, I get Kraken spiced rum. Kraken spiced rum is the best spiced rum I've ever had in my life. They got regular, dark. But if you actually add Dr. Pepper to it, and I like Dr. Pepper. I drink it now and then, but I'm not a big Dr. Pepper guy. But if I'm going to get Kraken, I got to get Dr. Pepper. It literally tastes like the missing flavor of Dr. Pepper. Like, of all the different ingredients in Dr. Pepper, this is the one that was missing that completes it. So you can still taste, the alcohol enough to know that you're drinking. But the blend between the two is probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever had.
Tom
It's
Dog,
amazing.
listen to this. He's a Dr. Pepper fan. So
Yeah, get it and
synopsis.
mix it with that, man. I'm telling you, it'll change your life. Mr. Pibb works
Well,
just as well.
Mr. Pibb's good too. Yeah.
I love me some Mr.
Southern
Pibb.
Comfort and vanilla Coke. I can see that. I drank Southern Comfort when I was younger. I did drink Jack when I was younger, and I cannot
I'll
handle
tell you
spice
something.
gum because I've seen too many people that just those are some of the things where when you drank too much of it and you can never go back, you know.
Southern Comfort.
One of them for me.
When I was younger, there was a drink, and this was before I had my daughter. Okay, when I guess I was like 21, 22 range, and there was a drink, and it was called liquid cocaine, and
I remember that.
its base is Southern Comfort.
Yep.
And oh my God, my boyfriend had me drinking liquid cocaines and Apple Jacks.
Yep.
And
Justin
I
knows
was
your Southern
sick
Comfort.
I was sick as a dog between those two drinks. So we had a girl over that I really, really had the hots for. And between telling her that she was pretty, I was puking. I'm not sure I made it to the toilet. It was, oh, you're so pretty.
I want to point out that Jessica is my bearded lady, for those of you that don't know. And we found out our first year when we were hunting last year that we knew each other from our childhoods. Told you guys a lot that, summers and part of early fall, I would spend on either the reservation or the farm. Well, she grew up during that time period a couple farms over. And we started telling these stories and realizing slowly that we knew each other when we were young. And here's what I remembered about her most often is that we'd have these parties. I was always the one telling stories by the fire and just getting high as shit. It's just me. It's how I've always been my whole life. And she would be the one just screaming, "Let's get drunk and naked in the cornfield." And literally, before you knew it, her clothes were gone and she was out in the cornfield. And that's how you knew the party was starting, because she was naked in the cornfield. That's how the party's kicked off. And I would just sit by the fire and behind.
But did she scream Outlander at all of the rest of you, or is that just in Nebraska?
No, that's only when the adults showed up.
We had some. He who walks behind the rose.
I did once invent and drink with Southern Comfort. It's the only time I've really enjoyed Southern Comfort. I was stranded in Toledo. By the way, Toledo sucks. Like, I fucking hate
Toledo. Does suck.
It's not. The people there are good people. I was in a bad situation, and I'm not a fan of Toledo. Well, I was stuck there for a couple weeks, and some really awesome people put me up. They became really good friends of mine for a long time. It's, here you go. I know you through so-and-so. I know you're a good guy. I want you to scratch with us for a couple weeks. And I'm like, fuck it. And when I was down there, they were like, if you want to drink, we got some liquor, go for it. They had like this much of like a bunch of different things, but they had Faygo Cola. And if you don't know this about Faygo Cola, despite it being, ICP, et cetera, it's Faygo from Michigan. It is the best cola that you can ever use as a mixer, because it tastes pretty much the same flat as it does normal. The flavor really doesn't change. And you can have a really nice sipper mixed drink with it, because it'll literally just not go flat like Coke or Pepsi or even RC will eventually. And they had a lot of that, and they had enough to make a mixed drink, like a big, I'm talking it was a couple about this size, a big old stout cup. It was slow gin, amaretto, Southern Comfort, and Faygo.
That had to be the sweetest.
I was a big drinker. So I mixed it all together and I started drinking it. And let me just tell you, I don't know how the mixture was right. I didn't know that you couldn't taste the alcohol. It was just the sweetness. And the amaretto kind of overpowered stuff along with the Faygo. Because Faygo's got a very sugary, noticeable taste to the cola, more so than usual. I couldn't tell. And I drank almost the whole cup in maybe 5 minutes. I just kept, I was pounding it. And I was like, man, you got to go to the store and get more. You got to try this. And they came over and they tried to sip. And she's like, I'll be right back. So she went to the store, and her and her boyfriend went to the store and left me there to go get it. And they came back. And all I remember is I fell back out of the chair, just as they were opening the door, because I jumped and I fell back and I couldn't get up. And that's when I realized I was drunk and my feet were in the air. This is a wooden kitchen chair. And I screamed, hallelujah. And then they looked at me. They said, oh my God, that's the name of the drink. And then my friends back in Dayton found out about it. So I had to make it for all of them. So for 3 solid years, we would have these parties, pop-up parties at people's houses in the middle of downtown, in the back, trunks of cars. in the arts districts, like everywhere, and they would bring all the ingredients, and they would make me stand there and just make everybody hallelujah for 3 fucking years. And what we discovered after 3 years is it's exactly why we stopped doing it. If you leave it in the fridge overnight, it turns into cough syrup. And it will legitimately cure your cough. And that's when we realized we had basically just reinvented the flaming Mo, and then we never made it again.
I had a friend who was a blonde who drank way too much sloe gin one night and yacked on her hair and just fell asleep in it.
Oh,
and her
this
hair
was all
was
stupid crunchy the next day.
It dyed it pink
Oh, I believe it.
for like and her mom was a hairdresser and she tried to get it out and she could not get it out of her hair. She had to finally just bleach it all out and bleach all of her hair to get it to go out because
Oh
those are
yeah.
so
Should they put in
sweet
that, dude?
of
That's why you
things
shouldn't
together.
drink it. It was gonna
I'm
dye
pretty
parts of your
sure-
body, even your hair, permanently. Maybe you don't put it in your stomach. Just a
Yeah,
thought.
maybe.
I'm pretty sure that part of the reason why I don't drink a whole lot now is because of how much I did when I was a teenager.
Same. I was a full-blown alcoholic for a period of about 5 years, man, and that was like 17, 18 years ago almost now.
Well, I'm not sure that I was ever a full-blown alcoholic, but there was a time period that I was doing what they called suicides. It was you take every bit of alcohol in the house and dump it into a cup and down it.
And if you did it in a giant cooler, it was called the Hairy Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, I survived that, and now I don't really drink that much. So.
Yeah, I think about drinking. I get excited, like, oh, I'm gonna drink, and then, like I said, my stomach's like, I know you smell all that alcohol, buddy, but that's not happening today.
Yeah.
I'm not a
That's why I
big
smoke
drinker.
so much, man.
There's this sushi place by my house. They give you a free bottle of sake with every roll, right? And I usually just mostly drink sake. It's what my stomach will handle it. Last night, I tell you though, I finished that bottle of sake by myself, and I come home. I started getting this hot flash. My face was all red. I had to go take a cold shower. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I guess I'm just getting old. The alcohol doesn't like me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did
Now,
find a
do
way to
you
still
get
enjoy
warm or do you drink
alcohol.
it cold?
We took a previous friend of mine made some apple pie moonshine, but we wanted to make it stronger. So we literally added THC to it. And we had this whole process, like we willed it out, we literally infused it straight up with THC. So you still have the taste, but we had to add more cinnamon into it. Yeah, that too. That as well. She might have not heard me mention the her naked in cornfields part, but yeah, the tattoos is a thing for her too. And we had to reinfuse it, with extra cinnamon, some extra, ingredients and stuff like that because we had to boil out some of the flavor to get the THC in. So we do the whole process and we do it, and like we took it to our friend Bear's 18th birthday party. No, his 21st birthday party. Yeah, it was 21st this time. And we all just drank it. Yeah, yep. She's got a whole bottle of it, of infused apple pie moonshine, like sitting there that she still has from this. And we started drinking it, and it was another one of those things where it just tasted so good you could not at first taste the alcohol. But we actually, instead of using the liquid, just the liquid of the THC, we actually brewed it with the butter because it's like a buttery apple pie. So some of the butter matter is still on the top of it the way you brew it. Yeah, it's like a cream is almost sits on top of it is what it looks like. But it actually, you could drink to the point where you were starting to feel drunk. But because of the THC content was so, trust me, it was heavy in it, there was none of the bad side. There was none of the nausea. There was no hangover the next day. And I was like, I could get ripped off that shit. And actually, my stomach was okay. Like, I was surprised. I thought I was going to die. But no, like, apparently, if you infuse it correctly with THC, like, you can drink a little bit more than our bodies at our ages should probably be able to.
But if you want to make Applejack, you just make, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, like making Nanny Ogg's scumble, basically, you flavor your apple cider however you want, make it hard cider by fermenting it, and then set it outside during the winter, or stick it in your freezer, whichever works better for you, and let it freeze, drain off what's left, let it freeze again, drain off what's left, and you're getting all of the water content out so that all you have left is the alcohol that is super spiced and appley flavored.
Yeah.
Appley?
Apple, yeah, it's a word now. So
It is a word.
you're actually missing a very important step. So when you've
Which
done
step
all
is
that
that?
and you've made that, because that's exactly how I've made it, you then take a bunch of marijuana plants, right, that you're about to cure. You cut them, you hang them, you cure them like normal, and then you cover them in that. And then you do a second curing process with that. And that's how you make Applejack buds, which is actually a real thing. It's been around not quite as long as Applejack, the drink, but like within a decade difference. It's been around forever. But we would always make the Applejack and drink while we were curing the buds with the Applejack to make Applejack buds.
The Applejack that I was referring to, though, was not quite that nice. The Applejack I was referring to was a mixture between Apple Pucker and Jack Daniels.
Oh yeah, I know that version too. Yeah. Oh my god, that's gut rot right there.
That is gut rot. And then if you mix it with liquid cocaine, I
That's
was
where you
sick
get
as
a
a dog.
Yeah.
I wanted to die.
It sounds like it. Yeah. Fuck.
My
No one
favorite
drinks that thing and
drink,
they're living through the night.
my favoritely named drink, because everybody always come up with like, they love to go up to a female bartender and be like, I want a hot naked sex up against a wall, or like all these different things.
Yeah.
They'd come up with really weird shit. But it was either I think it was Terry Pratchett who just named one of his drinks a double entendre,
Yeah.
because I was like, that's the best way. Yes.
I drink girly drinks when I go to bar. If I'm not like having a scotch or a Jack and Coke, dude, I like lemon drops because I love lemon candy.
I
And
love lemon drops. Yeah.
dude, if I go to a place though, and I will always order at least one fucking lemon drop, and it's got to have the sugar on the rim. It's got to taste like
Yeah.
candy, man. I will fucking. That's my girl drink right there. Every
Does
damn
anybody else-
time.
There's like Aftershock, Goldschlager.
No, I
the
can't do
mint
Goldschlager.
one.
That was the thing that
All of
kids
those are
that
so
I did when I was
thick.
like a teenager because there was gold in it. We thought we were cool until you shed, gold flakes, and then it was, yeah, and then you just kind of stopped drinking it after that.
Rumplements is
Yeah,
the other
because
one.
it was kind of
Then
painful.
Oh, rumpies. Oh my god. No.
they're
I know
all
I
so
can't smell
thick
that.
and terrible. And I can't deal with any of them. It's like you have the cinnamon, the mint, and the whatever. But there was a night where I was sitting at. I used to work at this place called the Rococo Theater. Raz has been there with me. We went. That's where we went and saw Rollins. And behind that is it used to be this huge theater, and it's decorated with marble. It's gorgeous. For a while, they covered all of that up
Ghosts
and turned it into
everywhere.
a movie theater, and had the backstage part of the theater is a bar called Barrymore's that you go into through the alley, because it's where all the like backstage stuff was. And it's a really cool place though, and it's like they've turned Barrymore's into a martini bar, and it's very nice. And then they finally restripped everything down and rehung the they found the original chandeliers and everything for the Rococo. And when I was giving a tour once to somebody, he was in from Italy to fix a church out in the country with some marble stuff. And so an Italian professional marble worker told me that the marble work done in the Rococo when I was taking him around was among the top 10 sites he'd seen in the world as far as
Wow.
quality of crafting went. So that was really cool. Like he came in
Marble's a tough
specifically
medium to work
just
with,
to see
man.
that. Yeah. But it haunted as fuck. But
Yeah. You walk down the street from the place and you can just feel it and it's coming from there. You just know it.
yeah, I had things thrown at me a couple of times, various other things happen. I knew a friend who was in the Barrymore's bathroom and kept trying to get out, and the door kept locking on her, and she'd like it locks from the inside, but she'd unlock it, and then as she'd reach the knob it would lock back over and over
Yeah.
and over and over. And people would get followed by stuff everywhere. But
I don't know
that
if I
has
told
nothing
you,
to do
but
with
like I had the
sexual
intense
story.
feeling of being watched the whole time we were there. Like when we were near the building, when we were in it, and like until we were in the car driving away, like just the intense feeling of like someone just doing nothing but like staring right at you the whole fucking time.
I worked there by myself in the whole building frequently. So it was just like hanging out with folks I can't see, but
Yep.
all right. But the whole point of the story was actually about alcohol, not ghosts. But
Goats?
I would get off work, and I was a big wine drinker then.
If you can't tell.
And when if you worked at one, you pick up shifts at the other, and you also got the discount for working there. And so basically, if we'd get wine, we paid the cost per bottle rather than what they charge people.
Right.
Yay, Kristin's later.
Hi,
Hey, Tish.
Hello.
But so I would sit down after I had a long day at work because we were open during the day as well as the evening, like doing ticket sales and stuff, and then working the bar. And I'd sit down, get a bottle of wine. I lived a block and a half down the street, and just sit and read a book at the end of the bar because I just wanted to be able to read in peace, have a cigarette, could still smoke back in those days. And I was on my second bottle of wine one night, and yes, kids, don't do that, but I did because I had to just walk a little ways. And these guys that were lining up the rest of the bar decided that they were buying everybody at the bar shots. And I was like, no, thank you. Don't need one. Great. Got my bottle of wine here. I haven't spoken to you at all. I don't know who you are. I'm good. Well, are you going to be a bitch about it? Are you going to be rude? You're not going to have it? We're buying, man. I'm like, well, why don't one of you have two then? Peer pressure. And I was kind of pissed at the bartenders for not just saying,
not
like,
okay,
leave her
man.
alone, man. Like, she works here and she's done. So they give me this drink. They're like, come on, you can do it. And it was Rumple Mints. And I'd been drinking red wine. I'd already had a bottle and a half of fucking red wine. And so they're like, oh, let's take these Rumple Mint shots. I'm like, oh, and it's just the taste. I'm just like, trying really hard. Okay, I made it through. Done. And they're like, well, we're buying another shot. I'm like, I had one. I'm good. And the bartender's like, they're going to make you have one. I'm like, can you make it just like fucking vodka, please? Or something that just doesn't have that taste and that texture going down, that it's like cough syrup sticking to my tongue. And he's like, yeah, sure. And he pours it in the same glass that I'd already had before.
Oh.
Which is, no.
No.
You never do that. You always get fresh glasses. Fucking codes. And so I get a shot of warm vodka flavored with Rumple Mints for my second shot.
Which is worse.
And fortunately, the bar was near the door because the bathrooms were all the way upstairs. And I made it out into the alley. Bad things happened. Everything evacuated me. And this was the weirdest thing that happened at a bar for me. One of the weirdest things that's ever happened at a bar for me. I'm like, get back from away from the trash can and stuff. And these four guys come walking out of the bar, and they were Australian. I cannot do the Australian thing, but they were just like, you're having a good night, eh? Oh, you got a little bit over here. Hold on. And they start reaching into their pockets, and they have napkins. And they're like, we always keep them around, love, so that we can clean each other up too. And they're like cleaning off my face. Oh, you got some in your hair. And they get out like wet wipes and stuff. And they're like, now get back in there and have another.
That's fucking epic, dude.
Okay.
That is kind of epic.
Getting the vomit off of me, and this is why you don't drink like that. Like, no, shots and wine do not go good together.
They're like fairy shot mothers.
It was the weirdest thing. Like, four random Australians appear and start cleaning me up, and then send me in to have another.
It's better than a drop bear.
True. It just says Jägermeister cold brew.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So Jägermeister coffee kind of flavor? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Nope. You had me Jägermeister. My band repped Jägermeister for 2 years we were on tour. We had to be seen drinking Jägermeister. We could only order Jägermeister. It was, oh my God, I got so sick because that's around the time when I was alcoholic. Because a lot of time we got paid money to go do shows, but we'd also get paid in free alcohol. And that's why it was so easy to become an alcoholic. And I got so sick that I actually stopped drinking all liquor for a year at one point in time. It was one of the things that ultimately led to me, like, finally, like, beating alcoholism was literally that experience. Because when I went back to drinking, every time I drank, no matter what it was, that's when my stomach would just be like, and it was done. It's a very acquired taste.
If you mix it with, what do those kids do? These
Red Bull.
It tastes like bubblegum. I used to use it. There was a
Kids
shot
these
called
days, that's been going on for 2 decades now since Red Bull was invented. At first hit the market, people were already mixing it with Jägermeister.
There's a shot called a shooter called a redheaded slut that is Jaeger, peach schnapps, and cranberry juice, and it sounds weird as fuck, but it's actually not bad. Like, it's not great, but it's tolerable. It's kind of tasty for some people, but it sounds like you're like, okay, cranberry juice, peach schnapps, and then licorice flavored stuff. What's ouzo is another
Oh
one that's
no.
fun. If you, it's what's the one? It's not ouzo, but it's basically the same thing. It's just a different name for an anise flavored liqueur.
Ouzo is
Um,
just like Everclear mixed with black licorice. That's what ouzo
there,
is.
there's one of them that's very similar to that. I can't remember the name of it is, but I'm assuming ouzo does the same thing. If you pour it into a Coke, it crystal like a fountain Coke, it crystallizes the sugars in it,
Yep.
and it actually makes it taste like a can of Coke.
Yeah. It
So
tastes
that's
okay that way, but when that's all you have
yeah,
and you don't know what it tastes like and you take a big drink of it and you don't like black licorice, no,
yeah. If you don't
stay
like
away
black
from it.
licorice, it's not good
I
for
hate
you.
black licorice. So
So,
gross.
I like the anise flavored stuff. I'm good with that. It's not a nausea. It like I don't like the peppermint or the cinnamon flavors in most things because they're too
yeah.
artificial and too sweet. But a good anise flavored thing is pretty decent for me.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. I tried it because I saw it was mixed with cold brew. Hints of cacao, just a shot. Not to get drunk though, just to try something on vacation. Rock
I think
on.
the Jägermeister might actually almost taste good in that situation with cacao and then coffee. I think it might actually not taste so bad then.
There was mom got we go through different whiskeys together. We started a whiskey journey when I started drinking again, and I take her through the bourbons. She prefers an Irish whiskey, and then we split on the scotches because some of it she can't handle anything that tastes too peaty, which a lot of
Yeah.
scotch does. It's just
Yeah.
not her thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I get you, okay.
Yeah.
And I won't even let her try the ones in the burn barrels because those are the scorched barrels. That's just like you aren't gonna like it, so don't
No.
waste $10 on a drink. But she likes Jameson's, and we found out that the main difference between Jameson's and Jameson's Black Barrel, besides a little bit of quality, is that Black Barrel is all brewed in the exact same distillery, whereas the other Jamesons are brewed in different places and they just bottle it and send it out everywhere.
Yep.
There's an amazing young man who is just his name is Dylan and he works down at Momo's Pizza here in Lincoln, and he is like he's got a PhD in
Dylan, we know where you
whiskeys.
That's not creepy at all.
But yeah, if you go to Momo's in Lincoln, if he's still working there, ask for Dylan because they have an entire page of whiskeys and it's broken into bourbon, scotches, and Irish whiskeys. But I was gonna say Jameson has a cold brew as well, and I wasn't a fan. But if you were
We need our
drinking it
own
in
liquor,
coffee,
like Allied
it makes
brand.
sense. We'll come up with
We need
something.
our own type of liquor, our own type of wine, and our own like strain of weed, and I would be happy.
We're doing red wine if we're doing wine.
Agree. That's the only wine I'll drink is red.
Yeah.
I just don't like the dryness of the white, man.
Yeah.
I like
honestly-
the fruit wines, not
Fruit
like
wines, I
the
do fruit
grape
wines.
wines,
I've
but
never
the
had a good
fruity
wine.
wines.
I like
If
plum
it's-
wine.
If it's never,
Sweet,
if
yeah.
it's more than $15 or $20 a bottle of wine, I've never had a good wine. So I've only ever had like not good wine. Which is
Try-
probably honestly why I don't like wine that much. But if I'm gonna drink it, it's got to be
Try
fruit. or it's
Arbor
not.
Mist. Try Arbor Mist's their Blackberry Merlot. It
I've
is
had that one. 'Cause
divine.
It's a fruitier one. It's a
It
cheaper
is
one, and that
fine.
one wasn't bad. Like I could drink that. It was all right. Love the Arbor Mist stuff. I can kind of do.
Yeah,
I'm
I
drinking
like
the
it.
2-pack Chuck from Trader Joe's. It's $3.99 a bottle because they raised prices, but they used to sell it for like about $17-20 a bottle depending, and then Trader Joe's bought them out, and they still produce the same quality of wine. They just sell it for a lot cheaper. So
I need
it's
someone to explain
actually
champagne to me, right? Because I think it's fucking disgusting. No matter how expensive, I've had Cristal even. It is all
It is
so
fucking
disgusting to
disgusting.
me.
It is gross. Gives me a
It's-
headache.
It's bubbly, and basically they shot air into a wine, and it's not good.
I
But
don't
have
get
you
the
had a
draw.
lambic?
What?
Have you had a lambic before?
No.
Okay, that is a beer, but they only make them in Belgium because the yeast is something that is a spontaneously generating yeast that only naturally occurs inside certain caves in Belgium. And they
Well,
harvest
that's
that
specific.
yeast. And yeah, you can only get like one company that makes it, But there's hold on a second. Let me
I do like beer, by the way.
Johnny.
I do not like beer. I don't like the smell of beer. I don't like the taste of beer.
I like certain ones. I'm picky.
I've tried so many kinds, expensive ones, cheap ones. I just never have gotten into it.
Okay, it's called Lindemans, and their framboise is their raspberry flavor. And yes, it is technically a beer, but when I've seen it poured, they serve it in champagne flutes, and it comes in a champagne bottle.
Okay.
And it is red. It tastes like fizzy raspberries.
Okay.
But real raspberries,
Sounds
not
interesting.
like
Not artificial raspberries, but like actual.
Yeah, it's
That
wonderful.
might be all right.
So yeah, but yeah, it's a Belgian drink. So Belgians do it right, man. They
Oh yeah, I like the
know what
chocolate.
they're doing when it comes to beer and chocolate, and apparently meat. They do. When I worked at a brew pub, the owners went on vacation for a week through Belgium, and they were going all these different breweries and stuff there.
Mm.
And they had some celebration going on, and they were like, and there was this table, and it was made out of meat sculptures. And after everybody admired it, they would then just go and eat, and you're like pulling
like chunks.
Parts of yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've never seen pictures of it or yeah. Their secret is they beat it.
They beat the meat. I love that.
Make another inappropriate
I love that. I love that.
Oh, Patty's here, so I have to make my big announcement about retiring from writing today. I'm joking.
What? What? Don't make me kill you. I will.
I'm still writing.
I will come kill
I'm
you,
writing
Matt.
right now. You hear my keyboard?
I mean, I just last night set up your link for Homecoming.
I know, that's why I'm fucking with you right now.
I will kill you.
I almost actually surprised you and visited you, and because Mothman Festival's coming up. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go Sunday because I can't go Friday or Saturday because of the haunt. But I can get up first thing on Sunday because it's a Saturday and a Sunday. I'm going to go down there. I'm just going to get into town and be like, hey, I'm in West Virginia right now. Because you said you weren't that far away, so I could make an adjustment.
Yeah, I am literally from Point Pleasant. I am about an hour.
Okay.
And if you had said I'm in Point Pleasant, I'd have told Joe, I'm going. I'm going to go see Raz.
The only reason
I don't care.
It's on my bucket list. I'm only 3.5 hours away from Point Pleasant, where I live in Ohio. It's not really that far. And I've been dying to go to the Mothman Fest, like, since I discovered Mothman as a child. And every year there's something. And then it's been haunts a lot. And this time, it was on a Sunday, I realized, I'm going to go. And then, okay, let's make plans, because I don't get to celebrate my birthday this year again. I was supposed to this weekend, but plans changed, and some haunt things happened, and then we're now opening fully on my birthday weekend this coming weekend. So that was the weekend after. Fuck, I want to go see the Mothman Festival. And then we realized that there was a bridal shower, like one of those bridal events that Brooklyn took off work to specifically go to. So now I can't. But I'm already making pre-plans this year that next year during the Mothman Festival, I'm going to be down there. I'm going to podcast from there. I'm going to do a whole thing.
You know what you can do? Squishables just this year came out with a Mothman squishable.
I know.
I have to get it.
It's I have so many of those.
You know what? If you're planning to be there next year for the Mothman Festival,
it's for sure.
I'm going to. I am definitely going to be there too. I will tell Joe we will make plans for me to be able to be there.
Yeah.
Whether he goes or not, I will.
Yeah, this is our make it or break it season, so I just could not take off that Saturday. But as long as everything is going to be open for the next year, I'm just going to go stay overnight Saturday. So I'd go all of Saturday, then all of Sunday, then come home when it's over on Sunday. But it's happening, like it's a guarantee. It's so close.
Then you'll have to broadcast your new upcoming show, which
oh yeah, it'll be from there because it'll be the right season next year.
Tell people about it. That was my segue.
Oh, it doesn't have a name.
Have a new show. Well, we haven't named it yet, but you can tell people what it's about.
So, I'm wanting to get a lot of us, people we know, and also at least a couple haunters that aren't me on each episode. We're going to be talking all kinds of things, man. We're going to be talking cryptids. We're going to be talking aliens. We're going to be talking maybe even, internet legends like Slender Man, the Rake, things like that. Just all sorts of different cults. Oh. And every episode is going to be about something completely different. And a bunch of us are just going to get together and talk about what we know. And here's the kicker. We're not going to talk about facts. And I've been thinking about this a lot. And every show, there's shows for all these things, man. Like, I can't be coast to coast. Coast to coast is like that's the the epitome of what this kind of show is, and I would never want to dishonor that name. So my thought is it's a collection of personal experiences that we have with specifically these things and things we've heard about it to help build the legends of these things. Because right now I'm leaning towards the name Legends by Night. That's my working title at the moment. But we'll
I can actually help you with that.
Cool.
I can actually help you with that because there's one in Maryland, not far from where I grew up. It's a blue tick hound.
I'm familiar,
It's actually a cryptic, and I have information, the story on that one. My stepfather actually encountered that damn dog a couple of times.
Yeah. So every episode that we have on will have some people that have had personal interest or some kind of stories about it, because I'm not trying to do a true crime podcast. I'm not trying to do a cryptid or an alien specific thing. I want to do things with people that we can bring on the show that have had real experiences, because that to me is really how we learn as a society, like with the storytelling stuff. And that's what we're based on, with storytelling. So I thought, wouldn't it be better to do it this way, to have actual experiences, firsthand accounts, like to actually have real conversations that aren't based on, well, that can't be true because of blah, 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 or whatever. Just conversation.
And you guys might,
and of course,
because she's had a lot of supernatural experiences happen to her, and she's thinking about either writing us up some stuff, or maybe if it works out for her, she might come on the show. It'll be her first podcast.
Very cool.
So,
Yes, I'm really excited. I'm hoping Connor into coming on.
Like Karma on a podcast would be awesome.
That'll be every other Monday, starting not this coming Monday, but the following Monday. So you'll see that twice a month. You'll see some people. Jessica, I'll get her. My bearded lady will pop on. I'll get some other people from my haunt, from other haunts. So if you're a haunter and you're listening, man, come on down. It's showtime.
And we have a question right now. Speaking of books, how is the writing going for you all?
That's a dangerous question to ask, because my publisher's in the room.
And your
I mean, I'm
babies.
writing. I'm really close, actually. I'm really happy with the way the sequel to Silences Crimson is turning out. Like, I learned so much from the process of, having re-released the first one, growing as a writer from the first time I wrote it to the re-release of it. And I've changed like a lot of my outlooks on a lot of things, and I've developed the mythology behind all this like so thoroughly in my head so many times that large sections of this book is just written itself. Like, I've just sat down and like, oh, there's another 4,000 words that just happened to me the other day. So like, it's a lot of it was already written. I'm just fine tuning right now, and then I got to make people read it for the third draft. But it'll definitely be on time. For change, it'll be on time.
His release date is Halloween. We are going to release the book on Halloween.
Birthday.
Yep.
Yep. We have a link for it already. It is already going to be set up and ready to go. Everything's already been worked out for that.
I'm excited.
I think I've already. I don't know if I've already got Amazon set up for it yet, but
yeah. And then I just need to figure out Lincoln.
Yep.
As far as my
Lincoln.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Lincoln. Hopefully, I have the time to get that one done. If not, next Christmas for sure. But the plan is this year, Lincoln and his friends meet Krampus.
Yep.
Nice.
And then Nano's just going to be towards next year, man. I got a lot of shit ready for next year. So some surprises and some good shit I'm working on. And plus the anthology for Fake Art that's coming out next year. Oh, you got one that's coming out also in October.
That he's
Yep,
in.
we are. Yep, both of them are in the one coming out. That there's two of them coming out on the 27th. One is night and one is day. Dark Dreams. It's romance hybrids. Romance going into other genres.
Yeah, and this was a big challenge for me because I've never really written romance, and I thought I was writing a serial killer story, which turned out to be a vampire story, which I'd also never ever written about. And to date, I think it's my favorite story that I've ever written. Before that, it was always, Mr. Jones was always my favorite, always. But there's just something special about this one, man. I think it's, yeah.
And Jenny's working on her second book right now.
Yes.
I believe she's working with Little Miss Cassie, and they're coming together with a book there.
Yes, we are working a art/poetry volume, I guess you'd call it. She wants to show off her art, and I've been pinning it and putting it in the book. And she's asked me to add some of mine to it, and I've been writing poetry and making little graphics like Patty does on her page for mine.
Yep.
I've just loved all the ones she's made, and I'm like, I want to put that in a book.
Yeah. Nice. And Kristin, you said recently that you were writing again.
Yes.
Yeah, I have been writing again, and I've been generating an idea for something more on the horror side, even though mostly I do romance, fantasy, erotica, but I really wanted to go with this story. It was inspired. Don't want to lose it. I do have, I've had a book finished for a while, kept editing, was finally ready to get it going, send it out to a paid editor.
Yeah.
Because, I'm self-published, so I freelance out. So I have my money all saved up and everything for that. My AC breaks the beginning of this summer.
Yeah.
I'm in Texas. It's been over 100 degrees like every day. So all of my publishing money just went to fix air conditioning. So I have a little bit of delay again on the second Dragon Rider book, which
Send it to me.
It'll get out.
Send it.
Send it to you.
Send it to me. I do editing for my fake horror authors at no cost. I don't guarantee that I will do more than just look at it to start with, but I'll at least give you a quote on what it would cost you to get it edited, if nothing else.
Awesome. Thank you.
At that point, it doesn't cost you anything to get a quote, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. And then Del.
And if I like it well enough, I might do the editing for free because I got to read it. Because I've done that before too.
Oh, really?
I have. You can ask.
Yeah.
These guys will tell you. If I like something well enough and want to see it out in the world, I'll edit it or do something for it just to get it out in the world.
And then I'm the end of it. When I get something, I charge people like, if it's their first time with me, I do a discounted rate just so they can see what they're getting, but I do the discounted rate for just the basic editing. If you look on like the Freelance Editors Association, and but I deliver with I will also do research for you if I notice that something doesn't quite match up. If it's part of a series, I will read the entire rest of the series to make sure that there's continuity flowing and stuff. But I've gone through where it was like, okay, so in this world, you are having this, you've decided that all natural things are illegal or they are now grown in petri dishes and only the very wealthy can have them. However, you just had somebody that was tied up to a wooden pallet that was laying around in a warehouse that vagrants had. So since it was actual wood, they wouldn't be using it because the actual wood would be illegal. So what you need to do is come up with something else that a pallet could be made of. And I've looked at the vulcanization of rubber for you. And when you reach this point, this is something where it would actually work in the thing. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, any more than me telling you your grammatical and typos and stuff. But I've ghost written just a chapter or two here, or a sentence or two here or there for some people, or it's like, you had a 17-page battle scene and the weapon that they used at the very end was one that they discarded on the 3rd page of the battle scene. So you need him to pick one of those up from somebody dead along the way. And this guy wasn't on a horse. He was in the back of a thing because he was too hurt to ride a horse. And this woman's been pregnant for 3 years. And they're just like, okay. I'm like, was she pregnant? Did you have one? Like, is she just pregnant again? But it seems like she's just been pregnant for 3 years. Yeah, you're right. She was pregnant for 3 years. I forgot to have her give birth. It's like, okay, so do these things. I'll point out, like, you've killed this person 4 different times in your books.
Yeah.
Your books are all interconnected, although they aren't all in the same world. They're in the same universe that hits worlds. Is this person the same one who's kind of almost godlike? No, I killed him that many times. You brained him with a jewelry stand, you had him shot, you had him run over, and now he's been just clubbed to a pulp. Oh no, I didn't realize that was the same name. I named him that in all of those? Like, yep,
I remember that one.
No,
That was
that's
about
just
that one.
that's just the name of my old college roommate. He was an asshole. I guess whenever I try to think of somebody who deserves to die, I just put his name in there. I'm like, okay, well, you're really screwing up the continuity on the like 5-dimensional Venn diagram
Yeah.
of your universe here.
That's because I kill the people I love. Like the people I care about the most get the most elaborate, like interesting or like heartstring pulling like deaths. Like I don't know why that is, but that's just kind of how it ends up working. Like I spend the most time thinking about them as a person, which somehow translate into the deep thought of their death. And I don't know. I don't know why I do that. I've killed Jenny. Like
I kill Stefan Lear all the time. There's a Facebook
I
group
saw that.
for it. If you've killed Stefan Lear, you can
Yeah,
actually. And but I get crafty so that nobody has to see the name Stefan Lear over and over and over. I make anagrams of his name and kill him off.
yeah.
Like he was like Elthostan when I had him in a Norse mythology kind of setting or whatever.
Yeah.
And my writing though, I'm gonna have just because you asked.
Yes, because we got to talk to you about it.
I have one item that has been in submissions that I have not heard back on for months now, and it's driving me crazy just because is it good that it's taking this long or is it bad that it's taking this long? I keep checking my email, not hearing anything. And then I have 2 submissions that I have to finish up that are like just there. I just have to get them onto the thing. I've been having problems getting it from the head onto the page, you know? But and then Raz and I have a couple of projects that we're working on the lore behind right now so that we can we're both really big into character and world building, so we're going to get this huge project, couple of projects going that the lore is just huge in.
Yeah.
So we have to put
The
down
exciting
like
one, though.
a couple hundred years worth of things that have happened, and then we can go into it.
So imagine an epic story novel about a haunted house, but all the personal interviews and all the things about it are never actually with anyone that lives in the house. It's like people that know the history of the property or the mailman or just really weird out there shit. Like, or they knew someone that knew a person that lived there. Like, it's all these like secondhand accounts on how like this house affects this whole little area. It's cul-de-sac, I think, we were talking about originally.
Yeah, it's going to be a cul-de-sac, and the man who started the mill or whatever that made the town what it was, built his house up there, and then a couple of the wealthier people also, and maybe one for some servants' quarters, but they all get passed down, and there's all this history of hundreds of years of what's going on in this area, and then things like tea parties with some of the ladies, well, gossip parties basically, will be going on, and they'll be talking, and they might invite the new person in the house over, but they won't talk about it then. But they have cameras and things set up. One of them does to monitor the property. And so they're talking about, oh, are you ready? Because the Shadow Man was out again. I've seen him 3 nights in a row now. Something's going to happen. So be ready at night. She's going to come screaming, or one of them is going to. And just they all know what's going on, but they refuse to share it with the people who live in the house. So
I'm really excited about that one. Like,
it's going to be super fun.
It is. And then another thing that we've talked about doing, if you've ever wondered who some of our favorite short story in the horror genre writers are, we are working on some collections this year, this upcoming year, 2024. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, the Owlite Publishing?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and Tish, I will pull your stuff up in a second. I promise.
And this is not for original stuff. This is
this is something. Basically, it's they call it passive income. It's we're going to be putting together some publications that are stuff that's already in the public domain, and you'll notice this because if you, I know when we've put out like horror anthologies before. Like when we did Morlo from Lethos, or what else do we have? Like the stuff with you, Patty, and you'll be going up against all of these, like the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe, like I have over here, whatever. And it's not their original publisher. Since it's in the public domain, anybody can go out, and as long as you make a couple adjustments, like add a forward, a couple descriptors to the stories,
personal essays,
some original artwork, Like you can just write an introduction and stuff like that, the forward to the book. You can publish it yourself. So we want to go together and not just do like the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe with a couple of essays of
It's
Poe.
been done.
No, all that's done. So we're going to collect groups of stories that are all based like with the classic authors, but all on a very same theme, and then go with our next one is the next theme and the next theme as we go through. Try to put out some books there. We have I'm not going to mention it just yet by name because
Yeah.
I don't want to. But
That's
we
all
have
still being
somebody-
worked out right now. Yeah.
Yeah, we have somebody worked out to do illustrations with us
One
and
of our
stuff.
favorite
So
people.
yeah, one of our favorite artists. We've already talked with him about it. I'm just not mentioning his name because we didn't ask him if we could say it publicly
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to be doing that, and very excited about it. We're going to see how how exactly it works out, what all we're going to do. But we've been working on putting together all of our favorite stuff, and it's amazing though because you'll be like, oh, I read that story in like so fast, and it's like it's actually 150 pages. Okay, so we're not gonna put
Yeah,
that
it was a
one
lot
in.
longer. I remembered it.
Okay, but yeah,
We're getting into a lot of other things with Elliott. Our production company is official
stories
as of now. It's Elliott Productions. Basically, I rebranded my own personal company for this. Like we just dropped the name. We switched the name over. So now all the future video stuff will be Elliott. Elliott Pictures is what we're looking at right now because we just like how it sounds at the moment for the video side.
Pretty good name. It's a pretty good name.
Stuff going on. You guys are going to be getting drops of randomly showing up YouTube and other platform either recordings and or videos of audio dramas and things like that, and radio stations. And
I heard a rumor recently
What's that?
that the first episode of It's Midnight and you're listening to WLR Elliott Radio is going to be dropping at midnight on September 9th. That's the rumor I heard.
Nice.
That apparently their little pirate station is going to be making their first broadcast that night.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's just a rumor, right now. But
so we're going to be throwing things at you, every kind of storytelling that we can come up with. We've got audio coming out. We've got the videos coming out. We've got all of these shows that we normally do. We're going to have books actually coming out that you can get on your Kindle or buy and actually have a copy of and hold. We're going to be talking to some comic people too, so we're going to get a lot more into the graphical side of things. Hopefully bring in some musicians. We have some more filmmakers that we're going to be bringing out so that you guys can see all the sides. And the other show that we're re-releasing, initially the first thing that started as the Owlite podcast is going to be kind of renamed because we've seen how we did it the first time and decided that we want to go back and redo it better. So we're going to take you on Owlite Presents The Art of Storytelling. And we're going to start off and we're going to be taking you guys from cave paintings to creepypasta and everything in between.
Yep.
And you're going to learn about, like, back in the day, you might think, oh, they drew some buffalo on a wall. Great. They left some handprints. But when you get into it, they used a camera obscura to actually place things on the wall in a certain way so that when people were sitting in the exact right spot and they had flames going, there was motion on the walls. So the people who were telling the stories could do things and actually use these as like a moving picture thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And some of the places where the handprints are put up and things like that, they can date when they started to when they ended. And they were doing it all over the world in places that had nothing to do with each other. There's no way they had communication with each other. But some places had a 3,000-year legacy of this occurring within the same cave pattern. Or the same cave. I don't know what you call it. But we're going to go through all that and get up to like some of the newer graffiti and stuff. And we're going to be telling you about how these things were like the storytelling mediums, as well as just then telling you stories as well to make sure that you can kind of follow along and why such oral traditions and things like that were so important. We'll cover Grimm's fairy tales.
Yeah.
We'll cover stand-up comedy and politicians and things like that. The way that
Even
storytelling connects us. Yeah. So really excited to get a chance to revisit that and this time hit it better than we did the last time. We didn't do bad last time.
We didn't do bad. We just learned. You know, like we can do it better now. We also have another company that I feel safe now officially announcing as of today, Elliott Printing. So a lot of the merch that you can get right now we're still going to be selling, but there's a lot of types of products that we can't really offer through a lot of the websites, but we can now officially make them in-house. We're looking at Elliott necklaces, Elliott shoes. I'm actually getting my Elliott shoes made here at home here in the next couple weeks. Finally, I'm excited. We got our heat press back. Hats, like trucker hat style, like I wear all the time. I'll be switching from my beloved Losers Club hat to an Elliott one probably here in the next few weeks, I'm hoping. So we're going to be offering a lot of additional merch that you can get straight from us through our website, just made to order. Like you order it, we make it like the next day and ship it out to you.
And the money that we're making off of that is going to be going back into the network
Mhm.
to pay off things like the StreamYard and everything else, but also to buy more merch and to hopefully fund us to get to go to more cons so that we can represent ourselves at cons. And there we'll be able to, with your, this isn't, we'll have that merch as well.
Yeah.
We do have our TeePublic site up too, if you guys want to go there. We have a lot of different stuff, something I think for every show right now. Need to make a couple more things, but merch, you can get all sorts of stuff there. But we can also order, so when we go to the cons, we can get stickers that we can hand out rather than being like $2 a piece for this. We can, there's a friend that you has that does printing and stuff. So
you get a chance to come out and meet us, tell stories with us, because I'm sure we'll do some live storytelling podcasts from the cons. Like,
yeah, we want to go to like horror cons and stuff and be able to like introduce you guys to people and then do live broadcasts from there. Maybe we can get somebody who like after their shift is over and we're all hanging out after the show, feels like sitting around, and we'll do a broadcast.
Open up a laptop with a microphone on the hood of a car out in the parking lot, you know, whatever we got to do.
Hanging out at the bar, shh, turn down the radio. We got so-and-so. He's drunk enough to tell a story.
Yeah,
all
turn
right.
down the radio so YouTube doesn't flag my video, please. Yeah, we're getting crazy with shit, guys. We found something we all love to do, you know, which is tell stories in all the different ways with all our different shows. That's ultimately what we're doing. We're just telling each other stories and telling you stories, and hopefully more and more. Every show we've done, we've got more of you guys listening, more of you guys tuning into the live shows, more of you like all the time or like interacting with us on other social medias, and that's what we want. That's what we need to keep the stories going.
Join the Discord, and then you can tell us like what you want us to do. I mean, you can do that everywhere. You can write us a note on YouTube, write us a note on Facebook. Jenny has to go through all of that and let us know what's going on. Our gal Friday over there works her ass off, by the way.
She really does. I don't know what I would do without her over on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok for Fake-Horse. So
she knows my life more than I do. She finds so many things that I had no recollection of existing, and she just finds it and reminds me. And I'm like, oh shit, that was me. I did do that thing.
She got a picture of me when I was in 6th grade in a play that we did for the school program.
Oh, if it was online, I guarantee she'd find it. She's my personal historian of life. Like, when I finally get dementia, don't remember anything, I'll just call Jenny, like, Jenny, what did I do yesterday? What did I do 20 years ago? Okay. She'll be my future version of Facebook on this day. That pops up every day.
On this day, this is what you need to do, not what you did before.
Yeah,
this
pretty much.
Did it last time. Maybe don't do that again. Okay.
All right, we've been putting Aptos here for a bit, so I'm gonna pull her up. I am in research mode for my Christian fiction standalone and in character development for my fantasy trilogy. But first, I need to get to the Red Pen book. Need to get the Red Pen book 1 set up as a paperback now that it is published as an ebook.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yes, please.
That's an awesome book. We were talking about that.
That is a book.
Pages.
Yeah, that book is so funny. It's so cute.
It is. It's awesome, man.
And Kris is an amazing writer, and please go look and find everything she wrote and read it, and then reread it again.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If you're watching this on YouTube, like after it's live, click through our playlist for unprinted pages. Like Jenny did, an episode that had Tish on there, and it was a blast, man. Tish is awesome.
I was so grateful.
Tish really is.
And learn about her. It was amazing.
Yeah. And also at Fake-Horse website, because I think you still have some of them posted, like some of the older video parties that were done, because I've seen them online. I just can't remember if they were on the YouTube or. But I know there's links to there.
I believe they're on our YouTube. I know they're on the Fake-Horse Facebook, I think.
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Because we've got the chance
But
to do
I
some
think they're on
anthologies with her,
YouTube as
too.
well.
Yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
how I met her, was doing an anthology with her through you. She's
Yeah.
amazing, man.
Fish has been in, I think, I'm wanting to say 4 or 5 of the anthologies. She was one of the first anthology writers we had.
Yeah.
And honestly, she's been a good bit of the encouragement that has kept me going in Faycore. So
She said 5.
5. Wow.
5.
She's
Yeah,
amazing.
okay. I was close. I said 4 or 5, so I was.
I just go to my website because I put every single one of them up on the website, so I always remember what I've done. I actually got to put the new one on there this week.
I need to make a spreadsheet, and I encourage this to other authors too, because it was something. Have a sheet, have when you wrote it, and then have where you've submitted it to.
That's
Because
important.
if you you need to make sure, like, I got it back, it did not get published and stuff. But I know a lot of people who I don't write nearly as fast as I should. I think, and I write it in my head, but I don't type it as fast as I should. I don't get it out there. But for the people who can write as fast as I think, they often lose track of where they've submitted things and what is out and what is not, and where they can submit stuff. So I do highly recommend, if you're somebody who can actually write and actually type and get the words on a page, to have something set up and just keep track of where you've done it. And then if you've made major revisions since then, do things like that as well. It's going to save you time, even if it's just little short tidbits that you kind of wrote up for something. You might eventually find somebody who's looking for, like, writing a Drabble anthology. And so just list it, even if it's nothing fabulous. List all your stuff. It's so important.
Something I'd love to do actually is get with Faycore, like do a team up. We have so many writers, here on Owlite. Like the majority of us are all writers. Like we should do like a team up thing and do like an all Owlite anthology. I mean that could be a lot.
I would love that.
That would be great.
That'd be cool.
We have artists as well.
Pick a charity, like do this for, not for us, but like just for a charity, like something that we all believe in, and just get it out there and help people.
Yeah. Well, we have one that was for charity, the Grandmother's Anthology, Grandmother's Wisdom.
I love that one.
So it would not be that hard for me to see doing another one for charity. So
that's another thing we talked about doing a lot for next year, also in 2024 specifically. That's when it's going to be easier to get everything all set up. Was doing some more things for charity, like a 24-hour stream. We've talked about a bunch of times. It's going to happen in January. A portion of the proceeds from that is definitely going to be a charity that we'll have sorted out by the time we do it. But like we definitely want to do more stuff like that. That's important, man.
And for the naysayers on 24 hours, there are a lot of us. There are so many people in the Owlite network that you haven't seen all of us yet.
Oh no.
At least not all together. And so no, I'm still going to get my 10 hours of sleep in during the 24-hour
Well,
run.
I will be on every hour.
taking
And let me
shifts.
tell you why.
Raz is insane.
I'm old school. I used to work for PBS for their telethons as a cameraman. I did not sleep. I'm used to it. When we had Twisted Geekdom, we did this 24-hour thing. This is where I brought it from, where we benefited charity, and we used some of the proceeds to also pay for at the time it was Podbean, because that's what we used. And I'd stay up that whole damn time. In the beginning, it was just me and Jason alone that did it when we first started doing it. And it was just 2 of us, and we would literally do it the whole 24 hours. I don't know how. We would just do it. And then, of course, as we went on, we had Kristin, we had so many other, Mariah joined us. Like, then it became easier as we went to do this kind of stuff. We'd have rotating guests and things like that. But like this one, man, this one's gonna be extra special.
We've done 2 hours tonight, and we had planned on like maybe half an hour introducing the shows, and that'd be about it. But Chris, you haven't gotten a chance to speak much because we're chatty Cathys. So I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Like the first time Raz did that to me, we were on a show about we were doing basically a padded cell, but it was a buddy check, and he was like, suicide. Yeah, Del has something to say about that.
And talking aloud. I did not think about how it came across.
Thank you. That's exactly what I feel like talking about right now. Thanks. But since we've all been chatting over everything, you said that you've started writing again and stuff, but do you have any like with anything else going on? Am I just like putting you on the spot? If I am, I don't want to be, but I just feel like we keep cutting you off.
Oh, that's fine. I did write this a screenplay actually, and I haven't really been doing anything with it. And I did want to go ahead and adapt it. Can't even talk. Adapt it into a novel form and go ahead and put that out and publish that because it's a really good story. It's based on a historical event and just I threw in the mythology. This is like an ancient Greek time, so I threw in the gods and the goddesses in there because it's just fun, Instead of like, oh, what if we know they believed and we know they prayed to them and everything, and that they were a big part of their day, but it was kind of more of like the whole old, like the Odyssey, where they were actual characters in there and affecting this history, and I really haven't done much with it. So yeah, I just want to get that done and out because it's just sitting there. I'm like, yeah. And then
I love that.
got to start the book 3 of the Dragon one. And yeah, just like I said, I'm starting on the horror project that I have. That's really all I have going on right now as far as writing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you do like actually more. You go to more cons than anybody I know, actually.
Oh,
except
yeah.
for people except for like the comic sellers and stuff. Like you go to a lot of cons. I get to see so many awesome pictures from your profile.
There is a Comic-Con coming up in October. I'm going to try to get to go to that one with the kids. We like to cosplay as well, my 2 daughters. Right now, they've been actually cosplaying Jinx and Vi from Arcane for the past, 3 cons or so that we've gone to. So they'll probably go as that again. They do the whole, my daughter put the tattoos on her and everything. Me, I changed mine up a little bit. When I'm lazy, I just, I do my little Harry Potter Hufflepuff cosplay and just kind of go like that. Just makes it easier.
I've seen
I'm hoping
Khaleesi.
to get to go that one. Oh, yeah. When I used to cosplay Daenerys as well. Yeah, I just tried that back on, and I got a new wig for it because I kind of want to go again. I haven't been her in a while. And then I'll do Sophie Hatter from Howl's Moving Castle. That's my absolute favorite to do. I've
seen so many inventive costumes and makeups from you and your daughters, man. Seriously, I feel like I've almost watched them grow up because I've known you for so long now. All the different pictures, I remember them when they were so much younger, getting into it.
Babies,
and seeing that transition has been fucking amazing, man.
Yeah, 2 of my favorites was when. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, do you have cards for them?
No, I don't. I don't have cards for them. I should get them to do something.
Sure, that'd be cool, man.
When I was at Terrificon, the only con I've ever been to so far, there was this itty bitty 5 or 6 year old, maybe a little older, but short for her age kind of thing. And she dressed up as Disney princesses every day. And she had a professional pink business card with little hearts and things on it. And she'd written her name on it, but it had the rest of the stuff. But she'd actually written her own name on it. And she was going to all of the podcasters and handing out her business card that she had. Because her mom
really cool.
was a professional cosplayer, and she dressed up her daughter as well. And it was just you get all the candy here. We want to have you on our show because you were the most adorable thing.
But they've got into complex makeups and costumes too.
Yours sounds like a lot more. She's just kind of picked up. I don't want to say only well, this little 6-year-old was just wearing a Disney princess outfit, but yeah, you sound like you have very elaborate costumes for your kids.
They're spot on too.
The one year they went, my youngest one is the childlike empress from Neverending Story. She looked just like her at that age. It was crazy. I see if I can find a photo. I'll send it over. You can pop it up. I'll put you this one as their I'll put it in the group so you can pull it up there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
I can grab it, put it up.
And then the other one, she went as a Gelfling, and I just love that one as well. Let's see if I can find the Gelfling one.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And they've worked on their Renaissance Fair costumes a lot too. My daughter, she learned how to use the sewing machine, and she made fawn or satyr leggings for herself. It was they're just getting so creative. They haven't had any kind of lessons or classes of anything. They're determined and they do it.
That was another thing I've really
My uncle did that.
Oh wow!
So I've never seen Arcane. I know what it is, but I'm a big League of Legends player. So and that's what Arcane is based on. So I know the game and all the original lore for all that. And it's spot on, dude. Like their costumes, they're just so spot on, man.
Yeah, and it just suits them because they're sisters. The characters are sisters, and yeah. Let's see if I can find her childlike Empress one.
Everything I actually know about was it Studio Ghibli? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I've heard people say Ghibli or Ghibli. Whichever is correct.
Everything I know about it is from you and your daughter. Seriously, like seeing the costumes, like you saying it was from there, then me going in and looking it up. Because I have friends there, I've just never seen it, but like seeing all those pictures, like I remember that you guys were doing the food also. That was kind of like some of the food from the anime. This was like I think a while ago.
Oh, gosh.
That could have been years back, but I remember it very clearly.
I'm trying to think when we did the food.
This was back. It's been like probably
way far
4 or
back.
5 years.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
been a while, but I've always remember it because after that, like a couple years after that, I started seeing other people were doing. I'm like, y'all are just copycats. I've already seen this, and it was done better than way better.
Oh, speaking of cosplayers, I'm gonna grab something really quick here.
You do that.
This is yeah, it's gonna take me a second.
She's cosplaying right now as Janine Garofalo. For those of you at home that didn't know.
That's hilarious.
I'm sorry. The bowler's
there we
daughter.
go. That's their other one. I found the other one.
Yeah, seriously, we on Splash Pages, which you can also find me at. We just did a comparison of the original Mystery Men comics to the movie, and
I got to be on that one.
Yeah,
So excited.
and it was.
Here's this next one from Kristin.
Oh,
And she
wow.
really does look just like the childlike Empress, like just straight up, dude.
Everybody loved that one. She was stopped for photos like every 2 seconds, just like, oh, can I get a photo? Can I get a photo? It was really cute. We put that together. It didn't take us long, actually. And actually, somebody suggested, because she had this, she was in ballet, she had this Jasmine thing that she was doing for that year for that recital. And the way the professional photo shoot looked, it had this like headpiece. So a friend commented, hey, she looks like the childlike Empress from Neverending Story. And so that is when we got the whole thing started from there. I was like, we should do that. Should totally do that. And yeah.
So that's still to this day, even as wacky and odd as it got, one of my favorite franchises from my childhood for sure, man.
Yeah, it's still kind of, I don't know, I remember it creeping me out so much as a kid. It's the wolf, the little towers.
Yeah, I had some stuff. Oh, yeah, hold on.
I was off grabbing something.
Yeah, it's spot on, man. Like, just like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, that's amazing.
There's some time travel that happened involved with all this somewhere.
So I'm gonna put this in all the channels that it goes out for. I will list it also in a ticker here in a second. There is a great cosplayer who just recently was diagnosed with cancer, and I'm gonna share. Let me get a banner going here real quick. Oh, sorry about the typing. Yeah.
For some reason, anytime I think hold music, it's always the music version of the girl from Ipanema that runs through my head, and I don't know why. I heard it once in an elevator, one time in my life as a child, and that's just my hold/elevator music for life now.
What is the name of your owl, Patty?
My owl? Oh, it does not actually have its name on it. I do not know.
I thought you had.
My daughter bought it for me.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
so
we
I'm gonna
centered on that. Sorry, Joe King Tut.
Yeah, I'm gonna share a screen here. This guy was awesome. I got to meet him. He was one of the first people that I met at my first con, and he was just diagnosed with cancer, but he went in with gallstones, and I'll read it as they say here. Joe now hasn't run into an arch nemesis that he needs help battling. Joe was diagnosed with gallstones a few weeks ago, but while the doctors at Arkham Asylum were poking around his temple, they discovered third-stage cancer near his bile duct. Now, this was something no one saw coming, but Joe decided to stick it out and fight this cancer. To cancer. He had to take medical leave for his daytime job and will be starting chemotherapy very soon. What Joe could use is some financial help while he goes through treatment. Without work, he'll be receiving some benefits from the state, but it won't be enough. We all know how expensive healthcare is, so Joe has some hurdles ahead of him. Can you help out? Stand by your tut and donate what you can. And this guy is amazing. He drops by all the different tables and he gives out little gifts of stickers and things like that. And with a note that is, this is a random act of kindness, and passes stuff out to people and new people at cons. And he's just a fabulous guy. He goes wherever he can be, gets to know everybody, talks to people, and is really into the scene. So if it's something you can do, or if you can just share it, sharing this out would be awesome.
Yeah.
And just helping
Shares are
out
very helpful.
a major con goer and just very kind man. So sorry, I just had to get that out because I was like, you know, you're sitting at the booth and doing stuff and you see this guy walk by who has smiles and waves for you and doesn't have con stench or anything.
He's been going to cons for
Constant.
years because he's known in the Ohio con. Like, that's how I found out about it. I saw the first
Yeah, he's
postings in the
everywhere.
Ohio con groups.
So yeah, we like to try to help people out, and I'd forgotten about that before we started tonight, but started talking about cosplay and I was like, oh yeah, King Tut, gotta help him because he's awesome.
And another way we like to promote, good things for the world is through our favorite owl, Woodsy the Owl. Give a hoot, don't pollute.
It's cute.
Seriously. I did not that one.
I was trying to explain like this the other day to the kids. I was like, okay, we had mascots for things that people should just know to do, which is why people know to do them now. We had Scruff McGruff that took a bite out of crime. We had Woodsy the Owl that taught us not to litter. Smokey the Bear taught us not to start forest fires. She's like, why did you guys need mascots to teach you to not do these things? Aren't these things common sense? I was like, you would be surprised.
Was it Mitch Hedberg that had the bit that was like, I never got any sleep when I was a kid because I was always out trying to prevent forest fires?
Because only you can prevent forest fires. And some of us took that seriously, too seriously.
Stood around with a bucket of dirt all night.
Yeah.
I was exhausted by the time I got to history class.
Yeah. It was a big thing too, and this is still a video I plan to do in some way. I pitched this idea years ago. It was about this really weird indie film company that had this big claim to fame. It was like this super dorky guy, but he was an action star somehow, like a James Bondish guy, but he was like a complete geek. But there was like a niche market for it, and the studio made millions overnight. The first one. Now they're about to release, like, I can't remember what we titled it. I'll just say Joe Schmo for the sake of it. Like, now they're on Joe Schmo 17, and the studio's hurting. It's now lost all its funding. No one gives a shit about Joe Schmo anymore. But this guy that owns the company just won't let the company go, and he pitches this concept of saving their company by creating viral videos. And I had this whole film laid out with filmmakers from different areas. It fell through. But I saved actually a lot of the skits, like the original ones that I wrote. And I wanted to like bring a lot of things back from the 80s and 90s. And I wanted to bring back Woodsy, but the shtick is that he wanted to take things from back then, but making them horror-ish. So I created this character instead of Woodsy the Owl. It's Stabby the Fowl, who was a modern day anti-littering, but it was the anti-littering demon. And there was the cute song is, Stabby the Fowl went through the woods with all the kids. All the kids were singing a song. I actually wrote the song somewhere and everything. It's a parody of the Woodsy the Owl song. And at the very end, they were all going to do their action shot where they're all picking up litter and smiling for the camera, except for a guy was going to walk by a litter and just litter in front of them. And Stabby was just going to stab the guy to death in front of all the kids. And they were just going to be like, oh, Stabby. And that was the end of the commercial. I think I'm still going to make that someday. It's just, it's fun.
That absolutely sounds amazing, actually.
We had a Reading Rainbow version with the Necronomicon. That's still written in my file somewhere.
There were things they also tried to fuck with us with when we were kids on television. First, the Canadians actually came up with a lot. They came up with the North American house hippo. And it was this commercial. It was like, like, don't let the house hippo steal from you. And they had these itty bitty hippos like running around in the kitchen. Like, they hide in dark spaces and then they come out at night and eat your food and stuff. And it was like a minute long commercial. And like, people believed it. It was supposed to be one of those commercials raising awareness to point out, like, don't believe what you see on television. It's not all true. But it had people convinced that there were house hippos because it backfired a bit. And then back in the 80s, we got a rock hit out of Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Mad, yeah.
Because once again with the Canadians, in 1984, Kim Mitchell released the song "Go for a Soda," and it's all about might as well go for a soda. Nobody hurts and nobody cries. Might as well go for a soda. It's better than something, and it's better. Nobody dies, and all these things and stuff. But it's all about don't go out drinking or doing drugs, kids. Just grab your friends and go have a soda. And it became like a hit.
Yeah.
So,
we did weird. Like, we had a lot of teachers in high school, specifically, like freshman year and up, who started in the 90s letting us do like reports and things. And on video, they started like getting into it. Of course, me and all my friends had a camera, like, fuck yeah, let's do this. So we would invent random things. Like, we had to do a report on what the Odyssey 2 would be like. If there was a sequel to the Odyssey, what would it be like? So we were really into Vampire the Masquerade at the time. So our concept was, it turns out that Odysseus was actually the brother of Cain. So we brought vampires into it. They were fighting in the woods. Like, we made this video. But we started making our own commercials. This was when I really started making my own commercials. And we had a friend of mine. He looked like he was Alaskan and Japanese heritage. And we put him in a Rambo costume with a flaming crossbow. For no reason. Just, we would make these little weird commercials. And it turned out to be for a País Picante salsa. Like, and it was just this random thing that we made. We did a Mentos commercial, like all this weird shit. And then at one point in time, we thought we needed to create our own cryptids or like breaking news things. So the first one was what you didn't know about aqua cows. And aqua cows, if you've ever been in a public pool and you felt that little pinch in the bottom of your foot, that's not the pool lining. That's an aqua cow. You just got bit by an aqua cow. And then for like a couple years, I'm bringing this up because some people took it seriously. And they thought, like, oh, is that those little microscopic things? Like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's definitely what they are. To bullshit people. And there was actually a sign up at one of the local pools, actually a serious sign that said to, alert someone on the staff if you experience, an aqua cow. And everybody's like, and then we decided to point out how stupid they all were. The next year, in my sophomore year, we created this cryptid called the Bewildered Beast. I was the Bewildered Beast, by the way. And it was literally, we would just run to the woods with cameras like it was an action news report and go, we've got, sightings of the Bewildered Beast is in this area. Let's see if we can find him. And you would just point out random things. One I remember, notice the random discarded tire in the middle of the woods. The Bewildered Beast has been here. And it was just random shit. We just see, like, notice the Bewildered Beast. And then it just turned out that I was the Bewildered Beast. Like, after we did like 9 or 10 of these and reports, we would sneak them into friends of ours' reports whose classes we weren't even in, and the teachers would talk about it. And we got banned later from, we did one at school. They were not happy with that one.
do you know what no-seams are?
What?
Yeah, no-seams.
Yeah. Okay, you guys do. They're the itty bitty tiny, like smaller than a grain of salt mites that come out sometimes. And I don't know what their technical name is, but because you can rarely, but they will bite. But because you rarely see them, they're bigger than chiggers, which terrified the shit out of one of my friends. He never heard of chiggers before, and then he heard about them when he was in Nebraska for the first time and thought we had weird infested grass and was scared to death to go walking outside, and it was really weird. But no-seams are just like itty bitty little, like they're smaller than a pinprick. And but they call them no-see-ums because you can't see them most of the time.
You feel the bite. Yep.
Yep. And they bite you, and you're like, ah, shit. And then you're like whacking at this little tiny thing that
and here's what they look like.
Possibly be alive.
Up close, this is what they look like.
That's freaking creepy.
Yeah.
The bad
Because
thing
you
is
can't.
real.
I don't know if
Because
I
you
can pronounce
can't
this, but I
like-
send it to you guys in private chat. It's a Serrata pagonidae. I
That
can't
sounds
pronounce the
about
damn word,
right.
but I sent it to all you guys. That's the actual scientific term for it.
Oh, I like Nocian better.
Saratoga.
Yeah, me too. It's easier to pronounce.
Yeah.
So I can see them anyway. So
Yeah, but they're itty bitty little things, so you miss them. And
they're
and we
basically
have
John Cena. Got it.
I'm still like flabbergasted. I just learned what that meant this year, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, I had to explain John
get it.
Cena and why he's been in every podcast we've ever done, every movie we've ever seen. You just couldn't see him.
We need to
Yeah.
have a Cena here and a Speakna.
That would be
John.
epic. Well, that's our next shirt. There you go.
Yeah, but we have to get him to do it, and I don't know if
That's
we can
hard.
like be like,
I mean,
"Hey,
I'll send
John."
anybody an email. I don't give a shit.
John,
I don't get responded to, but I'll
I've
send
only
an email.
watched it once. I have no idea who the fuck you are. I'm not really into wrestling that much, but I was
He
wondering.
just
could
hosted
you-
Payback yesterday.
lead with that.
Pay-per-view.
What?
Don't
lead
lead
with
with
whatever I want.
that.
You'd be surprised how many people are flattered that you reached out because of one thing that they did. That you weren't like, I followed your whole career. It's like, no, I saw you in this one thing and you were great. Had no idea who you were. Made me look you up, and now that I have, I need to know.
It's odd with John Cena because he's done some very serious roles and he's actually a really good actor. But in the last probably like 4 or 5 years, like he's gone into like really fucked up comedy. Like obviously Peacemaker. He's Peacemaker now for DC, and that is really far for him. It was almost unheard of back in the day. He's also granted more Make-A-Wishes than anyone in like known history. And he's still doing it like frequently. He beat the record a long time ago. It's something that he takes extremely seriously. Like he's a great human being, like straight up. But he did this movie called Vacation Friends. It was basically about like when you go on vacation with your significant other and you meet some people that are kind of cool on vacation. You're friends while you're on vacation, then you part ways and never see each other again. Well, the Vacation Friends was John Cena and his wife, and they were fucking crazy human beings, like crazy human beings. And then they end up tracking them down in real life for like during a wedding and all these crazy. They accidentally do shrooms together. It's a hilarious movie on Hulu, and they just dropped a sequel like literally on Friday, so I have to go watch it. It's hilarious.
Go watch this.
But it's a really good example of John Cena and like that and Peacemaker, what he does now versus the action and drama films that he started with.
I've only seen him in Peacemaker, and I saw more of him than I wanted to in Peacemaker, and that's because I'm weird, and I don't particularly find the uber muscular men to be a super attractive body type for myself. It's just like I appreciate the fitness and everything that they do to put into it and stuff, but if I want an arm around me, I want one like it's okay if it's a nice strong arm, but I want to also have a hi.
Hi.
Give him a
Hello.
Yes,
good
you
night.
say hi.
I am a robot.
You're a robot.
You are a robot. Nice.
He's gonna go save the day inside and go to bed.
Just don't tell him about Skynet.
No, we haven't done that yet.
I want somebody a little cuddly that I can kind of snuggle into. That I'm not like, as my daughter put it, I don't want to lay my head down and get a concussion.
I don't know, man. Like I
get
feel that
that.
way too. Like if I was ever going to be gay, like it would have to be another bear because apparently I'm a bear. I learned this term just 4 years ago because someone thought I was one and I wasn't, and that's how I learned what it meant. It was a very funny situation. I'll tell you during a Elliott Society one day. But I have one exception. That's got to be Jensen Ackles for me. Like that's cheeseburgers
hell
and
yeah.
flannel. That's like my whole life right there. So I think that I would have to go that way, but not even straight up, not even supernatural Jensen Ackles, but his indie film career. He did this movie called 10-Inch Hero, where he plays a line cook with a mohawk, and it is literally like the best version of him of all fucking time. There's this one famous scene from the movie, and it's actually where he met his wife before they were on Supernatural together, and it was the movie they got together during. And nobody likes him pretty much. He's a dork, whatever, but he's a nice guy. And the girl, he works with all girls at the sandwich shop except for the owner. And one of them needed pads, and he had no idea what to do. So he's going to this little market, like looking at all the feminine products, and there's these two guys making fun of him. Well, he finds out that these two guys are just always hanging out at the supermarket to meet women. And he has this big monologue where he grabs the pads, puts it in his arm, and marches up there. And he says, "You know what? I feel bad for you guys." And they're like, "Why? You're the one buying pads." No. What I'm doing is trust. That means there is a woman out there in this world that trusts me so much to know that I can take care of her personal hygiene, that I'm here buying this for her. What do you got at home? And then he just leaves. The next time he goes back to the market later in the movie, there's like 20 guys all standing around with like tampons and pads, just like looking around for a date. It's hilarious. Like, I did not do that monologue justice, but it is the greatest monologue I think almost anyone has ever delivered. Being a guy having to go to the market, to get something like that for someone they care about. Like, it was beautiful, but also hilarious at the same time. That's my Jensen Ackles right there.
Mine is the one that sings absolutely amazing slow songs on his band is Radio Company.
Oh yeah.
And if you ever get the chance to listen to them, because those songs, oh my God.
Del got to experience Jensen Ackles doing the lip syncing to Eye of the Tiger in the car from Supernatural recently, because I made her watch the video a couple months ago.
Yeah, no. Listen to him actually sing.
Singing is different. Yeah.
Oh.
No, he's my guy, man. He had me at the flannels, but the cheeseburgers are just extra,
Yeah.
I thought you said Jensen Ackles, who produces flannel, and I was like, what the fuck?
I mean, you could tell me he had a flannel line, and I'd just believe you. I'd just believe you, man.
No, I thought it was a girl. I thought it was Jensen. Yeah, I this is how poorly pop culturally I go on a show called Midweek Geeks over on the Dorkening, and I don't know the fucking names of anybody. I'm like Supernatural and shit. So I know nothing about pop culture. I just sit there and go like, yeah, I hate Nicolas Cage. Okay, next.
Yep, you're wrong. Bye. I had a conversation today where we were in the car on the way, rushing home to get here for the show, and we just started talking about Nicolas Cage, and I was like, for the first time in my life, I've officially decided that he's the only actor that I know that I actually have like a 4-way tie for my favorite movie of his. And growing up, I don't know why I was so attached to this movie as a fucking child when it was super inappropriate. So Raising Arizona, where he gets with this woman that's a cop and they want to have a kid, but they still one of the governor's kids, because they just had like 4 at the same time. So he was like, oh, they won't miss one. But John Goodman's in it. Like, this movie is like brilliant. It is an amazing movie. And that's the first thing I ever saw of his. And I saw it at the drive-in when I was young, and it hit me. That was like my favorite thing. And then he puts out this comedy action horror called Drive Angry. And I don't like car movies. I'm not a big car guy, but like, this movie is like the best action movie / horror / what the fuck am I watching right now thing ever. But I went farther, because then he puts out Willy's Wonderland, which is Five Nights at Freddy's with an autistic guy, and he's the autistic guy, does not speak the whole movie. Fucking brilliant. But then he puts out The Color Out of Space from H.P. Lovecraft. And his role in it was so fucking brilliant that I'm like, nah, I've got the 4-way tie. And I never thought, I love Nick Cage, but I never thought he would be the actor that I had a 4-way tie for a favorite movie.
Yeah.
I don't really like Nick Cage much, actually.
Del does not at all.
But then, honestly, he ruined Ghost Rider.
Thank you.
He's the best Ghost Rider we've ever had. He's the only one we've ever had.
No! It would have been so much better if he had not opened his fucking mouth.
Yeah. Oh! I will say, though, I didn't care very much in the first Ghost Rider, but I actually kind of enjoyed him a little bit in the sequel.
You know I did? Because, as Javier Saltares will confirm, as we spoke about it at Terrificon, they fucking took Danny Ketch's Ghost Rider powers and bestowed them upon Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze.
Yeah.
And Javier happened to have designed that Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
It was actually the first character concept that he was a redesigner for a new iteration of them. And we are both pissed that they went and bastardized it and did that to him. So
but it was a better movie, and he pissed flames off a moving truck. That was kind of cool.
I'm not speaking for Javier as to the casting. I don't know what his feelings are on that, but yes.
Well, he's coming back as Ghost Rider, right?
No.
Rumors right now is that They're trying to finally put to bed all the different iterations of Marvel characters. This is something they've been doing for a little
They
bit
just
already.
re-released. There are 3 Ghost Riders are all going at the same time right now. There's Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is Frank Castle as Ghost Rider. There is a new Danny Ketch Ghost Rider going, and
I'm talking
there's
about in
another
film
Ghost
though.
Rider.
They're putting to rest all the different variants of the film versions because Sony owned things, still owns some things they shouldn't own. Fox owned so much for so long.
Who
So
have
a
they
lot
had
of their
besides Johnny Blaze, though?
do what?
Who have they had as Ghost Rider
I mean,
besides
they
the
had a
Johnny
Ghost
Blaze
Rider on
version?
Agents of Shield. It was a female if I recall correctly, actually.
Oh, okay.
But they're
I
putting
okay.
those to rest because they're going to do a new Ghost Rider movie. And a lot of what's happening right now with Loki season 2, building up into especially Deadpool 3, is we're about to find out that Deadpool was the first one to break the multiverse, which happens actually at the end of Deadpool 2.
He's
And
a
they're going to end up
cancer.
blaming a lot of shit on him. Apparently, that part's just a rumor right now. But we already know now we're getting the entire X-Men Fox cast. We now know that for sure, like all of them. So we're getting all that over. Evan Peters is going to be revealed as the real Quicksilver because he was just in oh my god,
He was in
Scarlet Witch
Deadpool
TV
But
show.
that makes sense.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they're doing all this other stuff, and I guess now the current rumor is they're going to be bringing in more people to kind of fix some of the stuff and do the new combined world to go forward with X-Men, to go forward with Fantastic Four, and to go forward with Ghost Rider and a couple others. So we're talking cameos. Like at best, we're mostly just talking cameos from what I've been reading.
Like, okay, he almost ruined Constantine. I back when Constantine, the first movie was released.
Come on, Keanu Reeves.
No, I'm talking about Nicolas Cage, but that Constantine, yes. Okay, initially Nick Cage was picked to do the movie, but I knew somebody who was working, and it's like common knowledge now, but like when it was first happening, the things that he put in that were like, if I do the movie, I want to have this, 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 and this happen, and this is the only way that I'll play the character. It was like, A, John Constantine cannot smoke. B, John Constantine does not have a driver. He drives himself around. C, John Constantine has guns, not magic.
Yeah.
And it was like,
oh my god.
We don't want to play John Constantine.
Yeah, that would have ruined it. That would have fucking ruined it.
Think about the Nick Cage Superman that was supposed to happen that Kevin Smith was a part of and all these people. And then there was that one producer that was trying to push mechanical spiders for no fucking reason as the main villain in the Superman movie, and then later makes Wild West. And who's the villain? A giant mechanical steampunk spider.
And no spoilers, Flash.
Yeah. Well, now that's from like listening to you guys on the Dorkening. It seems like that might lead to something. Like the whole him is Nicholas Cage. This was like episodes ago. Somebody was mentioning it.
There's one part of this is a not really spoiler, but when they're running through the time and stuff, and they get to the time orb or what I can't remember what it's called right now, but they start seeing different. He's able to see different universes, basically similar to like what the Fantastic Four could do when they can like see, okay, this is this. So they're able to see different timelines, which are different universes, and various different Supermans, for example, are shown looking into the world, and different other heroes are seen like looking around, and they're all seeing through each other's.
It's the Speed Force, by the way.
Thank you. But there's like an area inside. It's the Speed
the
Force
dome.
The dome is what I couldn't remember the name of, but.
There's a name to the dome, and just no one really. I don't remember what the fuck.
Yeah,
I just remember they called it a dome.
Yeah, but it's really cool, and there's little, but they give little snippets so you can see some of the different. I think it's kind of homages to some of the different what ifs and ideas that never got around to being produced over the years for stuff. So it was kind of because it's like they're getting ready to reboot all of it, and Flash is really the last movie before they give us the official reboot of what actually is the new DC universe.
They basically did a very succinct version in a series of quick scenes that Marvel's been taking many movies to do.
Yeah, they were just like, let's encapsulate everything that everybody wanted to see and stuff, and just show it how it could have been for a little bit here, and then eventually none of this is going to have happened at all, but ta-da. You
Yeah.
get to see everything that you've asked for. Here's a fan hug, and
Yeah. And
then
I've
we're gonna
been
move
like,
on.
I'm not a DC guy. You
So-
guys know that. I talk about how I'm not huge into DC outside like Batman and like Swamp Thing and Constantine. But when Tim Gunn, I heard was going to be the one doing it, I'm like, Tim Gunn. He can actually do the horror side well because he's put out some of the most brilliant horror films I've ever actually seen.
James Gunn.
James Gunn, sorry. Tim Gunn is from Project Runway. My bad.
Yeah, I was like,
Sorry, I get the gun sometimes stuck in my head. Yeah, thank you.
he's awesome too, though.
Yeah, he is. He is. Make it work.
My mom likes it.
But
So-
I love James Gunn. Like, not even I was a big fan of his way before he did Guardians. Like, I've been a huge fan like for a long time, especially Slither. That's like one of my actual favorite horror movies of all time. Like, he's a genius, and the way he directs things, his storytelling. And when I found out that he was part of the team taking things over, I'm like, I'm actually going to enjoy this. And before he even mentioned Swamp Thing, who's my favorite DC hero, before he even mentioned it, I already knew it was going to happen because he'd been talking for years about wanting to do Swamp Thing, for years about it. And I just knew that was going to be early in the slate. But when he announced Constantine also, I was like, okay, we're going to get some the Dark Justice League.
Yeah, and I want to credit #BrandonVerse for bringing up months ago, like right when the announcement came out, that he was excited because there were horror directors that were jumping in, because the hardest genre to direct and make things work out in the way that they should, and to grab onto things and to use effects properly and to have a script that doesn't suck, and get everything through, are horror movies. That is the most difficult genre. And so those that are successful in directing horror movies also direct other movies just as detailed and as in depth as they need to. So they make better movies in general because they grew up, getting bashed on the asphalt and stuff.
And Sam Raimi really led the way for all that. He went from going from Evil Dead to the original, Sony Spider-Man movies. And while I've always been on record saying Spider-Man is my favorite, so I'm the hardest on Spider-Man films, his movies were great. The problem was the casting. I will never buy Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but Willem Dafoe, and I always forget the name of their Doc Ock. I know his name, just my brain is dead right now. Like, their villains for 1 and 2 were beautiful. All the rest of the cast sucked. And then 3, except for J. Jonah Jameson, he's just a god. Period. Like,
yeah, J. Jonah Jameson was perfect fucking casting.
Yeah, that was the most perfect out of everyone. But then in 3, what's his name from Wings played Sandman, and they just made him kind of a whiny little bitch. And then, oh my God, Topher Grace's Venom. I like Topher Grace in that 70s show, but him as Venom made me want to vomit. Like, I was angry.
I just didn't go that far with the Sony movies. I just couldn't.
Sony couldn't. Sony was like Fox. They would get pieces of really good things, but neither Sony nor Fox has ever been able to, from beginning to end, truly make an effective superhero movie. Fox got smart a little bit and they did First Class. It was decent. But the only gem that the 2 gems that they made, the only ones that worked, was Days of Future Past, X-Men, because they fixed all the things they'd fucked up, and it was a brilliant movie. But then they ruined it with Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. But Old Man Logan, or Logan in general, I call it Old Man Logan was the one for me, man.
I don't like any of the X-Men movies personally because I feel like they've all been bad.
Yeah, I mean, they've all been bad. Don't get me wrong.
X-Men was, for me, one of the first comic books I ever actually got into, and they have yet to do justice to any of them, to any of the characters at all.
I think there have been a few that have been well cast and done. Like, the casting, I didn't mind in the original ones. I didn't think they were bad. Like, I mean, the Professor X, they could have gotten no one better. There's just no one.
Okay, Professor X was right, and Magneto was right. Those 2 I'll give you. But Rogue was so wrong.
Rogue was bad. It was. I like Anna Paquin, but I just didn't buy it.
Femke, if you read the comics, she was just way too young.
Yeah, and Jean Grey, she was too old to play Jean Grey. Honestly, she was too old.
Yeah.
Although,
I love Femke, but yeah.
their Cyclops. I did love him quite a bit. I love him as an actor, though, like
Mhm.
because he was about the right age. He was pompous. He was rude to everyone most of the time. Like, and the acting side of it, he had the acting side closest to all the typical, the no Magneto, no Professor X, but the acting job. I thought he was the closest to. It's like I'm talking like Uncanny X-Men in the '90s, which just kind of felt like what they were going for there for a bit. But he was one that kind
Yeah.
of surprised me. Like I didn't expect because he wasn't even super well known yet at that point in time beyond indie movies. But we all know Danzig was supposed to be Wolverine, and then when he ended up not getting it, he then went and told everyone else that he turned it down because he didn't want to get typecasted, and that worked real well for Danzig, real well.
Now
He's
I
been in
gotta
so
say
many
though,
movies.
He got to
I
jump
gotta
out of
say-
a fucking window and get hit by a car.
Yeah.
Prophecy.
yeah, I gotta say Wolverine was pretty well cast,
He was
but
decent.
at the same time, he was missing something.
He was
Hugh
missing the
Jackman
hard
made a-
edge of Wolverine, which Fox didn't
Yeah.
want to go that far, and it was Fox that ruined that, not Hugh. Halle Berry
Yeah.
as Storm, she did great, but Fox
No,
pretty much ruined the
no.
way all her writing was so bad.
That's the thing. Halle Berry was not given a good script, but Halle Berry was also too young to
At
be
the time,
Storm.
she was too young. She was the oldest member of the group. She should have been at the time.
Storm was supposed to be a goddess in her own right. She was supposed to be an older woman. Halle Berry was none of that.
She is
As
now.
far as the way now she is.
Well, no, she's coming
But-
back. She's back as Storm too, and now because there's already been some pictures that she actually dressed up in the costume recently. Like now, she looks like how she. I agree with you. How she should have looked then.
And that's the thing. They did not give her even half of what she should have looked in any of those movies.
And how
She
the
did not
fuck-
have the look at all.
And where the fuck was Gambit? We had Rogue. Where the fuck was Gambit from the beginning?
Agreed. Oh my fucking god, agreed.
Bothered Dante. He's like, "Where's my gambit?"
He was rubbed down in
Yeah.
the feet.
What's his name from Magic Mike that was supposed to be Gambit?
What?
With Channing Tatum or something?
Yeah, Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
So they just also recently announced that he will be in the Deadpool movie as Gambit.
I don't
Which he-
know
he was-
whether
he was
he will
supposed to be
make a
Gambit.
good one or not. I don't know if he will make a good one or not.
At the
That
original
is-
time they first started discussing it, like he really wanted to do it to begin with, at that time in his life, yes, I think he would have been a good Gambit. But then they did the really terrible first Wolverine movie that we all pretend didn't exist. The one where Deadpool killed that version of himself in the end of Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
It was really bad, and they had a different Gambit in
It
that
was.
one. And as the actor looked great, but his acting was just not where it should have been.
Dude, I can't see this guy. Okay, I don't know who Channing Tatum is. I know that people have mentioned him before, but I haven't watched any of his stuff. And I just pulled him up, and no, that's
You want to look at
not
pictures of him 15 years ago when he was doing the screenshots with the actual long hair and the correctly colored clothing and the
And
trench coat. He actually
he's
15
not-
years or so ago
he's-
he could have done it.
He
Now
needs to have a longer, thinner face and body. Gambit isn't like buff. I mean, he's built, but he's a
Yeah.
medium tall build, not
Yeah.
a like and
He was-
face. This
Channing
guy's
Tatum
a square, not
was lankier back then. Like he had a thinner body type frame. Like he put on a lot of muscle and stuff like Magic Mike and all because he became a heartthrob and he started doing all that stuff. He was a comic.
And then
geek
once he did, once he became the heartthrob for Magic Mike, he kept it because
He did.
it was he liked the attention, and I
Yeah.
can't say I blame him.
And also, as a guy, if you've been like, oh, Magic Mike's a movie for women, it is not. Those movies are fucking hilarious. And if you like wrestling, Kevin Nash, Diesel himself is in those movies, and seeing him trying to be a stripper is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I think those movies are hilarious.
like I don't know exactly who I would cast as Gambit, but for some reason when this came up, I just had to pull up and see because I couldn't remember the name. But as far as like at the time, facial structure and body size,
Mhm.
and I don't particularly care for him as an actor, like I said, but Ryan Gosling fit the part.
Yeah,
much more
okay.
physically, I think.
Ken.
I could see that.
Back then, like Notebook era, you know.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
could work. There's another Ryan. Shit. Yay. Welcome home from work. I'm trying. His name is also Ryan. Ryan Phillippe is someone else that might actually work. If you're a fan
Maybe.
of Saturday Night Live, you'll know he was MacGruber's son, and he was in the MacGruber movie,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite movies.
I could see it. I don't know though on his acting if he could pull it off because
he comes from a dramatic background, and Gambit was very dramatic of a character.
yeah, but there's that accent. That accent would be the hard part.
Yeah, that thick Cajun accent. It was thick, man.
It was very thick.
But
And that would be the part that I think would make the hardest part of the whole damn thing.
Yeah. We could also do something really cool and actually show Rogue young how she gets her powers, because we got Miss Marvel right now, and that's how Rogue gets her power. Who she gets her powers from, and like they're already talking about that actress possibly being on the way out. So this could be a good time to get a new Rogue, man.
I would actually like to see a new Rogue because Anna Paquin, that was really not a good Rogue.
Yeah, she's a great actress. It just was not the place for her.
No, that was a really bad Rogue.
Yeah, I do want to see some good X-Men movies coming up, but I'm interested to see. There was a new thing I saw the other day that blew my fucking mind. There's this show that Daniel Radcliffe, aka Harry Potter, does called Miracle Workers that I'm fucking obsessed with. It's a comedy show, and I love this show, and he's so funny in it, man. Well, the new season, he gets his clothes basically ripped off. He's never been like a buff guy. He is now like legit. Like he has done all this training. He's had meetings with Marvel that everyone actually publicly knows of. Like it's happened. He's going to end up in the Marvel universe, but because of his size and everything and how he looks, like look at the picture of him above it. It's fucking mind blowing.
The one where he's like ripped it off and is like, hairy chest and all. Yeah, I saw
They're
that.
talking about there's a big rumor going around right now about him being Wolverine. Because if you look how his facial hair looked in that scene and everything, they're talking about him being like a younger, starting out, like just having gone through like a lot of the early Canadian stuff, like
the last thing I actually got to see him in was Horns. And if you have not seen that, that was fucking wonderful. I have not actually seen anything that he has starred in that I did not enjoy.
Dude, like,
that man is a wonderful actor.
I forgot.
He really is.
Playing Harry Potter as an actor, like I didn't typecast him I didn't pigeonhole like that. After I saw him play Quasimodo for the first time. Well, no, sorry, he wasn't quite Quasimodo. He was Igor. Sorry, there was a Dr. Frankenstein movie that came out where he played Igor. And I
watched him play Igor. That was fun. I watched him play Igor. My favorite was the Notebook one where he was playing the Russian doctor. That one was fucking amazing.
Have I missed Swiss Army Man yet?
No, I was literally just about to mention.
Okay.
He might be looked at for Wolverine, by the way.
Okay, Swiss Army Man. Okay, if you saw the commercials for it, you're like, oh, good, a fart joke movie. Rock on.
That does not prepare you for that movie.
And I was like, okay.
I teared up at the end.
I'm going to force myself to watch this. And I was nearly traumatized. Yeah, this wasn't... There were a couple of fart joke kind of elements to it.
Yeah.
But the majority of it was like this huge mental health issue and all this stuff going on. And it was so hugely in-depth and... just like, and you watch it and you're just like, oh my God, as you go through, and it's this like journey of discovery and you don't know what's going on. And there's like an M. Night Shyamalan ding dong thing happening that then keeps going on past that. And it was one of the fucking better movies that I've ever seen in my life. And
yeah, not even just a good Daniel Radcliffe movie,
that I thought was going to be just terrible.
Well, they built it as an
comedy.
I had to build up the like, okay, I'm going to sit through this fucking movie because so-and-so wants to see it. And they were kind of disappointed because they wanted to watch a fart joke movie. And I was like,
I got really high and went into a fart joke movie and came out changed forever. I'll just say that now.
Yeah, if you want to see, don't think that Yes, there are a couple of crude jokes and things in it, but the movie is so hugely psychological and just very intellectual once you get past a couple of the little things, and then you realize why they're there
But
eventually.
even
Like,
if you like think about
it's
those
so
scenes from the
good.
trailer and you actually watch those scenes, they were cut in a very specific way for the trailer that made them even more humorous. They weren't quite as humorous when it was actually happening. Is the fucked
Yeah.
up part about it.
Yeah,
Have you ever
like,
seen him wearing women's lingerie, singing "She's coming around the mountain when she comes"?
No.
no, I don't think
Season
so.
the season before this, or no, wait, season 2, the Wild West season of Miracle Workers. He's drunk in a bar and he's singing the whole song. It's on YouTube.
Oh,
I'll pull it up and show you guys
I
after the show. It will blow your goddamn mind. Like,
oh, you're on
I
so
saw
funny.
it. I watched it like 8 or 9 times in a row because I was watching the season. I kept making people come in there like, you gotta see this. This is fucking Harry Potter. Like, the fuck. And the first thing he did after Harry Potter was a stage play where he was nude. That was like the first big thing that he did right
With a
after Harry
horse.
Potter. So like he wasn't nude in this, but just seeing him, like it was basically like it was almost like Frankenfurter style clothing like that he's wearing, like, and he's a priest. They just got drunk and he's doing all this. It's really, it blows your mind when it happens. It's a comedy series, but like it was something, man. Like that's, you don't forget that. You don't forget that.
He was pretty good in The Woman in Black too.
He
I've
was.
liked
The
everything
sequel
I've
was
Yeah,
seen
I
him.
love that one. That one was good too.
I want to jump in. I know I had to pop out there real quick, and I can't figure out why in the hell I keep leaving the whole thing. But I just figured it out. But when it comes to Gambit being cast,
Mhm.
why don't they just grab a new actor that already has a Cajun and Creole accent?
Well, that's going to be the plan.
I mean,
That's going to be the
it's
plan for the actual
okay
actor going forward with a lot of these characters that they're going to be introducing a lot of
because
people. They're just bringing the
yeah,
stars that played them before were rumored to kind of bring closure to all of it, to kind of do all the new stuff.
okay, yeah, because it's like that is such a hard accent to do if you don't live it. But I know people who lived it 20 years ago that have lived in Nebraska for, the past 15 years or something like that, moved up to Missouri first or something, and they don't lose that accent ever.
No,
There's always that, and it's so melodious of a accent that you can't just attempt to do it. It's
dude.
it's very hard to actually properly do. It's like speaking a different language,
So that was my
and half
plan.
of it
Agreed.
is.
Is
Yeah.
speaking a different language in all actuality.
The first version of
Mhm.
JB for the Haunt he was Creole. That was the first version of him, and I practiced and I spent some time around people speaking it to me. Like I started getting used to certain things, how to pronounce certain things. But it got to the point where, like, in the Haunt, the first weekend I tried it, I was like, this is a lot for a Haunt. Like, this is a lot. And the more you do it, it doesn't get easier. You would think the more you do something, easier it gets. That's how it is with most things. But when you're learning that accent, it's tough. So what I ended up reverting into, and what I do full time with him, is the proper Southern Louisiana accent. A little bit like Bill from True Blood. Kind of like that, with a little bit
Yeah.
of like Creole, like just kind of like funk in there. Like that's kind of that was the closest I could get to sustain it. To see a new group of people, every 7 to 13 seconds to put on a whole new show to kick them out. I was getting to the point where we were doing like 300 to 350 people a night, and I'm doing this, trying to do an accent like every. I gotta pull this back. This is what it is now. It's tough, man.
But I could sit and listen to somebody speaking in that accent for hours.
I'm not gonna lie.
Same.
I thought
There's
my
some
accent.
others, but
I thought the accent that got me, that made me want to listen the most, was Scottish. I thought this forever, man. Like, I thought that was
Same.
the one until after taking you to that con and coming back and meeting Amish Raz's wife. There is something special about Pennsylvania Dutch. I don't know what it is, dude. Do not know what it is, but I found out in that moment that that's the actual accent. It's still Scottish. I'm still down with the Scottish accents, but like that one was just like, holy shit. Take my money and my pants.
I like everything on the British Isles pretty much, except the
I'm sorry.
Portuguese is another beautiful accent.
Have I told you how great her donuts were? Have I mentioned that? Like, her donuts were so
Yes.
good.
Your wife knows.
3 dozen glazed donuts, and oh my god, I wouldn't let anybody touch them. I spent a week enjoying these donuts.
You need to send me some donuts.
Oh no, I got of all of them after that week was over.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, fresh ones, not the ones.
Oh, I'm gonna go back and visit her someday. I know exactly what town it was in. It was an Amish bakery. Oh yeah.
It's like, okay, now I'm seeing like if we didn't have the internet and you wanted to share like, oh, I made the best meal ever. Like you like just. This is because I really like epoxy. I'm just imagining myself sealing all these plates of food in epoxy and then like having people being like, and this was my dinner like 2 weeks ago and 4 years ago on, July 3rd, I made this. Do you see? Yeah.
Dude,
I
if
have
I
like
could have
4
epoxied one of
rooms
her
that are just
donuts, that'd have been the
stacked
one
this
that
way.
Amish Raz would have like proposed to her with right there. That would have been her wedding ring. For those of you that don't know, Amish Raz is the version of me that now lives in that town forever, who is now Amish. He's the storyteller for the Amish people, and together him and his wife raise goats and grow weed, and they just tell stories all day and they enjoy life.
And sell donuts.
Yeah, and sell donuts.
The wife goes off and makes donuts every now and then.
Yep,
and she
glazed
brings them to
donuts, baby.
Stone
All
Amish
right.
Raz, and it's just like, here, baby.
I remember when we were pulling away, Michelle was like, yeah, you had it for her. I was like, oh yeah, I did. She was like, she was hot. Like, I get it. And I was like, dude, I will glaze her donuts and she can churn my butter. I don't even care. And Michelle almost like veered off the road. She was laughing so hard. And then of course, this was like right after we just went to oh my god, where was it that I went to? The Silent Hill place, whose name I know, my brain is just
Centralia?
dead. Yeah,
Centralia,
it was like right after, like we went to Centralia, learned about dead people, got some coal, like amazing experience, and then immediately like drove over and then I got married and created the alternate version.
People?
And somebody's gonna watch this someday, and they're gonna be like, Sarah, you really need to start watching this podcast. They keep talking about you. This guy, I think he's stalking you. Like he keeps calling you.
But they can't because they're Amish. I'm good. I thought about that.
Somebody's doing transcriptions and like taking them down to the colony. Read this. That Raz person was talking about you again and your donuts. He wants to glaze them. I'm not really sure what that means. But then he wants you to churn butter for him. And
no, I'm gonna churn her butter and like she'll glaze my donuts. I'll churn her butter. It's a whole thing.
I don't know why he wants to put butter on the donuts, but I guess that's his thing. And these crazy people.
I mean, some people like warm apple pies. I like glazed donuts. I don't know why that's a problem.
The actual food butter on the food glazed donuts is nummy. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not touching.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, Jessica's used to this shit. Like it gets way worse at the hot one. Like it's way worse there.
I am
hot Raz is
so glad I joined.
Other things I never think I'll ever say in my lifetime, and there's a show and I say them.
Glazed and
confused.
I'm so sorry, by the way, about last week because I had no idea what I was doing when I said those things, and then I kept saying them, and I hadn't caught the major flaw in my discussion of the package rather than the box that I got. And yeah, but it didn't catch up to me. Like, even when you said it, I was like, what?
Stop. You're cheapening it by apologizing. Just say you did it on purpose and it was planned all along, and that makes it more special.
Absolutely.
About the giant package that I got so excited about getting in the mail.
Yeah, John's big package.
That wasn't John's big package.
That
was Stephen.
We all want giant
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
That's the story
right.
that is.
They were in on the whole thing. Yeah.
That was yes. Derek is the one who packed that for me and filled it full of surprises.
He sure did.
And glorious special things that only I got. I was like.
Your audio keeps fading in and out a lot. Like you keep getting like really soft.
Okay, yeah,
it just started recently, like more recently.
Oh well, because I just drug the microphone, and that's why I had to mute it for a second because it like.
Oh yeah.
The cable to my mic, folks, doesn't quite work. It occasionally drags and then gives you guys like a burst of horrible feedback. So
yeah, it's not a very long part. You would not classify that as a big package.
No, the big package is currently in my bedroom.
Okay, I can't help it. That's what she said.
In my closet.
Here's my one for the month.
I have a stack of all of my special packages in the closet.
Some of them
There's like
vibrate.
5 of them that are Rough House.
Please tell me about your
Rough Hands.
Big packages from Rough House.
Big packages
That's
from Rough
wonderful.
House. Reading is fun and mental. Yes,
For
it
you,
is.
apparently, it's very fun because you can't stop getting packages from them.
I can't. I keep ordering them and I just smile every time I see that logo. Something really happy is gonna happen. As soon as I open this shit up, man. And it always does.
My back is out. You guys are making me laugh. This is not a good thing.
Okay, my glasses, it's so fucking humid in Nebraska. My glasses have fogged over like 5 times so far during this podcast.
It's all the talk about your packages.
Yeah, she's getting steamy.
I understand the fogging over. I'm on the porch.
You know, speaking of
I'm in
packages and Jensen Ackles, did anyone else see his ass in The Boys? It was a full-on, like, pan, man.
I couldn't
Yep.
bring myself to continue watching that after about the first 15 minutes. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, this just isn't doing it for me. I mean,
I think we should just have your mom on talk about asses. We'll have a whole episode. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Jensen Ackles. We'll talk about the late Chris Evans ones from a couple years ago.
oh, I thought you said the late Chris Evans, and I was like,
Leaked.
what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where the photos of him naked got leaked.
I was doubly confused because I was like, why would we want to see his naked dead ass?
Well, I mean, how else are we going to get the boxes full of loose teeth? Now that's a segue.
Yeah.
That is a segue.
That might be my best one ever, actually. From asses to loose dead people teeth. Yeah, I'm marking that one down.
Now I'm wondering. Well, because, I mean, if you're at the mortuary, they lay you on your back, so the blood settles. So it would be a really weird looking ass if you were just looking at dead asses.
You're thinking about this way too much.
Probably. That's my job.
You will never be able to achieve the true American dream thinking like that, man. Here's the true American dream for people, right?
Chris Evans in the whipped cream bikini, that's the true American dream?
No, it's a necrophiliac, cannibalistic serial killer. You get to play with your food and eat it too.
Oh, dude. No.
You only get a little clap from me on that, bro.
That's all right.
Only a little one.
But I know that's like almost dad joke equivalent, but that's my thing right now.
That is, yeah, that's
The
Greg
dad
Howard
joke necrophilia.
Dad joke.
If there was a dad joke for necrophilia, that's what it would sound like.
That is his level of dad joke.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I hate to do this, guys, but I need to be up early in the morning, so I need to skip it.
Okay.
So-
well,
Watch
thank
out
you
for
coming and
packages.
hanging out with us, hon.
Yeah.
Make sure
Have
when you
fun.
send out packages that they're special for everyone too.
Yeah. And
Always.
glazed
Bye, Patty.
Bye.
we should just
Night.
change the title of this episode to Big Packages and Glazed Donuts. I feel like that's where we're at this.
I mean, I can do that. When we're done.
But one of the pictures of the
But
glazed
they have
donut
to
should
watch
be
it
wearing
for
a
like
flannel also.
2.5
just to-
hours before they understand it.
Time means nothing.
Time is a construction. Oh my goodness. So Chris Evans in the whipped cream bikini is so much better than this is in case you're just not understanding where I got that from. Is so much better than David Hasselhoff and the puppy bikini,
Agreed.
because whipped cream can't like have mental trauma from having to sit on David Hasselhoff's junk.
Yeah. That poor cheeseburger he assaulted.
See, and he was part of the start of this all. He was one of the original people that his particular look and attitude just made me dislike all of the other people that were in any way similar to him, which is part of the
Jim
Nicolas
Carrey,
Cage
John
hate.
Travolta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
know
can
that's
see
your
where this all
hate
builds
list.
from, right? Yeah, but it started with David Hasselhoff was one of the first, and then it just kind of escalated from there.
So you will never watch the Kick-Ass movies then?
I did watch one of them.
Because Nick Cage is in one and Jim Carrey's in the other.
I have not watched the one with Jim Carrey. I don't. I watched the first one, whichever that was, but it wasn't like a I'm watching this on purpose. It was an I'm somewhere and this is on, and I have to pay attention to not be a total dick.
Yeah, I enjoyed them.
Kind of things.
But I don't hate people for their
It
looks.
wasn't
You know what
bad.
I'm saying?
I liked the girl. That was like what
Hit
kept
girl?
me watching.
Yeah.
It was that's what kept me into it, was watching the little girl.
And she went from that to horror
Good
for
for
a
her.
little bit there. And she's amazing. Look up her name. Know it, but I just can't. Yeah, Chloe Grace Moretz.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, her.
Yeah.
Once you say it, then it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was Chloe, and I just couldn't remember the rest of it. Because my brain hurts. And I didn't smoke enough. I'll remember, the more I smoke, the more I remember.
Because we're 3 hours into our welcome to the fall season. We've told you about the 2 shows we're doing, writing books, doing things, having stuff, and then people's asses and packages.
And donuts.
And
Did you... Spirit Halloween is now this year selling licensed South Park costumes for the first time, since South Park was first a thing in the 90s. It's part of the new, the big deal that they made for more seasons of South Park. 2 or 3 more new video games. They have the costume licensing all over again now, and they just bought one of the most famous Mexican restaurants in all the United States.
I was just
Colorado.
talking to Mom about that today.
So I got to go there. When we got married there, I got to see the place before all the renovations. But now they have they basically saved this landmark. Like, the 2 of them got together. They did a whole episode about this restaurant on the show, and there's a whole DLC for the second video game based on the restaurant. And it was amazing when I went. And they were just like little nods and Easter eggs to South Park, but like they didn't sponsor South Park, so to speak. But now that they're blowing the South Park side of it up, obviously, and I've seen a lot of the early photos, they basically restored that to like its glory. Like this restaurant, they have actual chefs there now. Like it's. I can't wait to go back. It's supposed to open this year. They've had to move the date back a couple times, but they want to pay servers like $20-$25 an hour to serve.
I heard 30, but they don't get tips.
Oh yeah, 30. Yeah, no tips, but
They
they'll
aren't
give you
allowed to
$30
get
an
tips.
hour.
And people are like, at a place like this, I can make more with tips.
Yeah.
That
Well, they
But
were
I mean,
trying
what
to
do
do
you
the
do if they
whole
leave
servers
you a
are
tip?
underpaid, and some nights they make almost nothing. So how can we fix that?
Yeah.
And that's
No,
what they were trying to do a good thing.
Of it. But at the same time, what are the servers supposed to do if somebody leaves money on their table? Like, oh, I can't have that. I guess I'll throw it into the Pearl Divers pool and they can scoop it up later.
And that by the way, if you guys have ever seen those episodes of South Park or played the game, the cliff divers are real. The giant monkey that steals food from you is real. Like, aside from the vampires section of it in the video game, because it was a From Dusk Till Dawn Casa Bonita crossover for the video game. It's epic. But most of those things, Bart's Treasure, like all those things are legit. They're at Casa Bonita. Those are actual fucking things. It's insane to see all that come to life from a cartoon and a video game to actually go there. Was like, and now, oh my God, now it looks more amazing.
Okay, now I want to see a crossover between Casa Bonita and Castlevania.
It could be cool. Because there was some elements of Castlevania kind of dipped in there amidst the From Dusk Till Dawn references.
Real quick,
the DLC is actually called From Dusk Till Castlevania. From Dusk Till Casa Bonita. And it's got any vampire thing ever, including Castlevania, like these little nods, like all throughout the whole DLC.
Being a fellow Midwesterner who goes on road trips and vacations and sees places like this, like we used to go to the Cosmos when we go up into South Dakota and stuff, and that's where like everything. Kristin, I'm not sure where you're from, but
Texas.
Oh, do you guys know the Cosmos in the Dakotas?
I don't.
I know of the Dakotas.
There's an area there, and gravity is fucked somehow. So they do all these weird things like that, like things will roll uphill, and they
It's a
have
mystery
examples
spot.
of it in
It's a
this one
giant version
little.
of one.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
kind of like the suspicious. Is it the Suspicion Mountains? I think in
Oh yeah,
Nevada, where things get really weird. But it's this little spot, and they have all the, like you can go around and do different things. But I also, one of the things we went, like we would go through there, and when we were kids, my grandparents would take us on all these trips. And beyond Casa Bonita, something we also saw, I believe, on the same trip was the Corn Palace. And I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's this giant palace made completely, well, it's built of wood and stuff, but it's lined, instead of bricks or anything, with dried off corn. And so there's gold corn and red corn and black corn and all these things. And they make all these murals and stuff covering the whole thing
It is
with
so cool, man.
dried
That
ears
sounds
of
so
corn.
cool.
And it's gorgeous. It sounds silly because you're like, a corn palace. You want to see something made out of
Yeah,
corn. But
that's
it's
corny.
it's really. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a picture of that real quick because
Yeah.
I'm like
Seeing it in
all
person
about
is
it.
nuts, dude. I've seen it once.
Yeah, walking around
Yeah.
it.
We were so happy that her lips were matching her voice, and then like in the
Right,
last
and
like
then it cut
45
out.
minutes, it completely went the other direction. And now her lips and her voice are more out of sync than they've ever been. Because her lips are still moving like 5 minutes now, almost. Not exact, not really. I'm just being a dick about it, but it's not really 5 minutes. But for a while after you stop talking, I need to cut another video from this real quick. And this is where we just all stare uncomfortably into the camera, like really
Oops.
close.
Did I
Wait, you
did
see
I
this corn
seriously
thing?
go off again?
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you died for a second, and then you like froze. I was making fun of the
Okay.
fact that your voice stopped matching your lips again like 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, I heard it. I was just like, is it still doing it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just did it now. Yeah.
What the hell? Dude, I tried so hard.
No, you're good. It's gonna happen.
Okay. I got the new internet. I did
It's
the
the wood
thing.
barrier.
Okay, so this is all made completely out of ears of corn. All of the decorations and things like that are all made from corn. In the murals, they use different ears or even just little pieces of corn to fill everything in. And it's just this beautiful thing
That's really cool.
that we have that you can go around. And it is in South Dakota, in Mitchell, South Dakota. So if you're going up and you're going to go ahead and see like the pictures of the presidents carved into the wall.
Rushmore.
Yeah, if you're gonna go see Mount Rushmore, you might as well check out the Mitchell Corn Palace as well. When we were little and we went up there, we didn't realize we got in too late to actually go see Mount Rushmore that night, and we didn't realize that our hotel overlooked it. We were little kids at the time, and the parents didn't realize it. So we all get out and they get us in our swimsuits and we go out to the pool, and my sister looks up and she's just like, "It's the man in the moon." And there was like, she was seeing part of Mount Rushmore, but she was just like, "Oh my God, it's real."
That's fucking epic, dude.
It was awesome.
I was thinking about storytelling movies, and two in particular, I wondered if anyone had ever seen these movies but me at this point. One was a Tim Burton movie called Big Fish.
I haven't seen that one.
You've seen it,
That
Jenny?
sounds like familiar, but
Oh, Jenny's
I don't know if
muted.
I've seen it.
Yes, multiple times.
Okay, so that's what I envision my life is going to be. Like, I'm going to be on my deathbed, and Brooklyn's going to ask all these questions, and finally, like, everyone that I've ever told a weird story about is just going to show up at my funeral. I'm not going to turn into a giant fish, so that's a whole other thing. But, like, that movie, like, in terms of storytelling, it's literally about a guy he was a traveling salesman, but he was a storyteller. That was his gift in life. And his son growing up hearing all these wild, crazy, seemingly crazy fucking stories from how he met his wife to the time he ran away with the circus, like all these crazy things. And like the way they approach storytelling in this movie is unlike any movie of its kind. Like it is so unique, and you guys should watch it, and then we'll actually talk about it because I'm telling you, it's It's a Tim Burton film, first of all, so the art direction in it is just gorgeous. But oh my God, he plays Obi-Wan Kenobi. What's his damn name? Ewan McGregor. He's the main character. He's the main character that the whole thing is about. And dude, it's brilliant. The other one is a little bit weird. James Marsden is in it, aka Cyclops, because we were talking about him earlier. But it's also got like Amy Smart, Christopher Lloyd, Gary Oldman. If I remember correctly, Michael J. Fox is even in it at one point in time, and so is Kurt Russell. James Marsden wants to go to art school, but his dad wants him to become a doctor, and he has this whole thing, this existential life crisis. He accidentally runs into Gary Oldman, who's actually a mythological creature, like almost like Loki. He's the Irish version of Loki, basically. And he gets sent on this giant journey where he has to deal with, there's the art museum of fakes. It's all fake art, obviously, that's been like copied exactly from real art. There's a whole story behind it where there's real art involved. Everything is not what it seems. And he goes on the craziest adventures ever. And it's another really great, but very different version of a storytelling movie, because it's about the journey, like the storytelling of the journey. Because if you were to try to tell anyone what happened to you outside it actually happening, like no one would fucking believe you the crazy shit that they go through during this. And I remember when it first came out, there was a big joke about how, like, when I dated for a long time, I don't date now, obviously, but even when I met Michelle, I did this. I have 3 questions. And my 3 questions before I know if I want to date someone. One was Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Would you have done what Neri did and got on the ship without question, or would you have doubted it and never got on the ship?
Okay.
So that's always the question asked. And I'm always interested in the person that would get on the ship, because that's me. I'd be on that fucking ship. That was a question that I added after watching that movie, because he specifically asked someone that he wanted to date that question, and they got it wrong.
Didn't I just read that recently?
Yeah, the vampire story, yeah. But like that one got added. But my other ones were, what class would you be? But I wouldn't tell anyone what I meant, and if they didn't know it was D&D right off the bat, fuck you. Oh, and the secret to the universe.
That's what I mean.
The life, the universe, and everything. 42. Like those were like the 3 things. Like it was such stupid things to like ask someone to know if you wanted to date them, but they encompass so many different parts of like my geekdom, like things I was interested in, like just everything that like I felt that those 3 questions, if someone could not answer them correctly, I just knew that I couldn't do it. I couldn't waste my time. I just had to step away, man.
I have a friend who, and he's married now happily, is a journalist.
You just threw that in there.
And well, I mean, I have a lot of friends that are married. This one is happily married.
There's a distinction.
I am too.
Yes. Well, but I'm not talking about.
Yeah, Del. What the fuck?
No, but his priority for people that he was going to date was, do you have a library card? Back when libraries were relevant. That was like his only criteria, was like, if somebody has a library card, I can at least sit down and get to know them.
That's my
because they
list.
read on purpose.
3 different library cards for one in total another state, but no, I don't want to date you. But
yeah, but it was one of those things like proving that you read for enjoyment somehow.
Yeah.
Like, and I, even if you, I think the backup there is, or do you have like also 500 books on your Kindle and another 500 on your shelves at home?
Right.
Like I have a library card. I haven't used it in 15 years because it's easier to buy a book on Kindle than to pay the late fee when I forget to take it back to the library.
Dude, you don't have to do that anymore. Every library now is built on a digital system, so you can just rent the ebooks, and they just disappear when the time elapses. They just disappear. I do it all the time.
I'll have to look into that.
There's an app and everything.
I just buy them.
Tiny people.
But so we're hitting 3 hours and almost 20 minutes here.
Shit, yeah.
We're
not trying to go for a record today, man.
Yeah, we hit our record the other night.
Yeah, that was a long run.
What all do we have for any other announcements? Did we miss anything major? Fridays are changing to Thursday nights, and our Friday night lineup is moving to Monday, so Monday is moving to Thursday.
It's all a lot of moving.
Yeah, it's just
Monday show is now Thursday show.
Yes.
Because I've been trying to figure out. Can you just completely say what day Unprinted Pages is so
Thursday.
I can?
Thursday. I will. Yeah,
Here's
well,
the
I'll
thing.
change that on the calendar and make it last that way through the
I got
season,
you.
and then when the next season comes up, we'll just change it again.
Sundays
So
will now forever be Allied Society. I mean, for this season, it's Allied Society. Obviously, Padded Cell, which we're doing right now. Allied presents the art of storytelling in Clutch. Those will be the rotating shows on Sundays. On Mondays, we're going to
however,
have
they
Team of
will
the Terrible.
rotate in whatever order they need to be in based upon guest appearances.
Yeah, we don't care about
Like to
what
throw in
order
that
you guys want to
caveat.
see them in. You're just going to see them when we, And then Mondays is going to be Tomb of the Terrible, which was a Friday show. And in place of Mats and Monsters, who's disappearing until the winter season, we're going to do what I think I'm calling Legends by Night. That's where I'm leaning at the moment, but I'm still working on that. And then Thursdays will be on printed pages. And who knows? We got a lot. Like Kristin joined us officially recently. Mariah's not had much of a chance to pop on yet because it's busy season right now for her. Matt's still going to be involved in some of their shit. My buddy Jason and I live with, we've been brothers for like over 20 years. We're going to be doing some paranormal investigations on video on YouTube. Like, we just have so many faces, like, and so many new people. Oh, and the
Tom
Twitch.
Dog
That's
from over
it.
at Brilltro.
Yeah, Tom Dog, like,
At Brill Pro.
yeah,
And
Drew. We're trying to con him into
Drew
joining us more.
Mollo and Jeremy, Jojo Jeremy. He's been really, really busy lately, so he's been kind of occupied. He's going to cons just about every week and
Yeah.
doing either interviews or he's the panel guy for him. So he's just been unavailable. He's exhausted.
Yeah, it's a busy season for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, we have a lot of hosts, man. You guys could see new shows. If one of our newer hosts wants to start a show, you'll see that too. I mean, our core group is just doing Monday or Sunday, Monday, and Thursday because I can't do anything on Fridays and Saturdays with haunt season. I live at the haunt. That's just how it works those days.
I'm
But
on the
that's not to
Darkening
say that
Tuesdays
other
and
people-
Wednesdays, but other
Yeah,
people can use
Tuesday and
this channel
Wednesdays,
and hop in. So
Yeah. So that's not to say that other people won't come up with other shows on Fridays or Saturdays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays here. Like, our eventual goal long term, it may not even be in 2024, but long term is to have at least a show a day. Like, every day of the week has a show. That's something in the future that we're very, very slowly, because let's be honest, we've been at this for 2.5 months and we built a fucking network. Like, that's an
And-
achievement. Like, what we have done so far. I mean, we have created so many things and set up so many future things that it's fucking exciting, dude. And I'm actually getting our logo tattooed. At the end of haunt season, I am going to go to my buddy Rob, who's also he helps me out with a lot of the acting stuff with the haunt. Who's someone I look up to in the haunt industry as well. He happens to be a tattoo artist, and I'm going to get an Allied tattoo. You don't know, I've got the Lament configuration from Hellraiser, like actual scale size tattooed over my heart on this side, but this size matching it, the same size is going to be our logo.
which one are you using? The Owlite Society that John did?
I haven't decided yet.
Or- Okay.
I may just have you do a whole new one. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. But so we're going to be doing that, man, because the way I feel about it now, this is what I've always wanted to do. Like, me and Kristin and our friends, we did, from the Raz and Dark to Twisted Geekdom, we found what we wanted to do, but we needed to take it further. And now we have this much bigger group and we can go further. And storytelling is my life, man. In every form, I've done it in literally every form I can physically do it in my whole life. And even if for some reason this goes away, like, the owl lives on, man.
And you're becoming the illustrated man just to go ahead and keep those stories going upon
See?
yourself.
Yeah. That actually leads me up to a really cool idea for either the art of storytelling or for Campfire, where we just talk about tattoos we have and the actual, like, stories that influence them. That just totally hit me because a tattoo is a form of storytelling.
I know tons of tattoo artists. I'm sure you do too. We could get a couple of tattoo artists and a lot of people who have tattoos on and just have a whole bit about that. That could be a multi-episode type of thing if we wanted
Easily,
to.
definitely. So, like, these are the weird things that we come up with during Padded Cell episodes that we then later go and do.
So what we want you to do, if you can, like and subscribe, or don't like, just subscribe, or do something. Visit our social media, and we really want to do. There's going to be coming up a show where we play D&D and some other role-playing games. We want to do that on Twitch. In order for us to do it on Twitch, we want to give you guys some control over what's going on in the game, so you have a little bit of influence. If you see one character's getting hit a little bit, if you know about Twitch, as long as you're just watching something, you're building up points on that channel. And so if this person's getting hurt really, really bad and you donate 500 points because you've been watching for a couple of hours, they get a healing potion or a magic little fairy like Zelda that comes in, swirls down, gives them a kiss, and they don't die just in that minute. But to do that, we need subscribers. We have to have 50 subscribers, or not, not subscribers. That's YouTube. Followers.
I mean, you can sub on.
You can sub, and that gives you more things that you can do. But just followers allows us to extend things out to you easier. And it doesn't cost you anything other than 5 seconds and a click, and you don't even have to get notifications from us if you don't want to. If you want to, we'd love to know when you're getting stuff in. But if you can hit our social medias and just give us likes and stuff, we can do more for you when we have those built up. And for all of your local smaller indie podcasters and people like that, just go ahead and throw them those couple buttons, because then they can turn around and give you better content, because there's more things that we can do, because we can't, some of those things, you have to have the followers actually following you. You can't just pay for it, because they want to prove that people actually like what you're doing before they let you go further.
Yep.
So
we definitely have a lot of opportunities lined up even for bigger sponsors, but we need your help.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of sponsors, we have a kind of sponsor right now. Well, we have a couple kind of sponsors. We are Go ahead, Jenny.
I got sick, and then I didn't go back and finish the Chewy thing because I got admitted in the hospital.
No, you're good. We'll get it.
Okay.
We were in it, and then we were out of it. Then we were in it, and out of it, and we're smoothing it out. But yeah, Chewy, that was a big one we found.
Yeah, we are Amazon affiliates, and we will be getting all of that information up on the website. And a lot of that, we're going to be suggesting to you things like we'll be listing every author that we've had on the Clutch or on other shows, all of the books that they have that are available on Amazon. You can click on our suggestions, and you can find everything that we've had on the show and everything that any of us have done. Those will all be up there, so it's easy for you to find. And because we are affiliates with Chewy, or we're working on it, or we're somehow, I'm not sure where we're at right now, so we're going to show some cute pet pictures because we like Chewy.
Our cats need to be seen.
Yes, Hinata didn't
music over
pop
this.
up. Okay, first I'm going to show, this is my little girl Hinata, and this is when she was chubbier. But this was her favorite toy from Chewy, and that is just cardboard in the middle that there's not like anything nasty in the little round thing, but she would sit on that all the time, and there's a little ball, and so you can scratch up in the middle. I'm making all these actions and you can't see me, but she'd scratch up the middle, and that's where the cardboard would go. But there's a ball then that you can knock around, and her brother liked to play with it, so that he couldn't, it was the only thing she had control of because she was big enough, she could sit on it and keep him from being able to play. And occasionally she'd start batting the ball around, but if you looked at her, she'd be like, "What? I didn't touch anything. I'm not a cat. I don't act like that." But she has since become a box cat.
Yes.
And this is how Hinata boxes. She sits on top of the boxes. However, Jenny's cat,
Lunar sat in the box playing with the mushroom. It's like, why are you taking a picture of me? It's just me and my mushroom.
Yep.
So
just shrooming out. Nothing to see here.
So ask your cats, which do they prefer? Do they prefer to be in the box or atop the box? Or are there different boxes? Because Hinata will occasionally get into a box.
And this is how you find the answer to Schrodinger's question about the cat.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not allowed to show any pictures because Crowley has destroyed the evidence. But how Crowley and HPL use the boxes is that Crowley opens the flap of the box and entices HPL to jump in the box. And then the second he's jumped in the box, he shuts the lid of the box on his brother and sits on the top of the box and will not let HPL back out. This is how Crowley plays with boxes, by tormenting his brother. But yet, HPL comes back every time there's a new box. And it's always a Chewy box because that's what gets delivered to my house. One day I'll catch him in the act, though. Maybe I'll get some video.
I have so many boxes I can't move on myself, but that's why I like exited things, because when I stood, there were like things falling because there's just stacks and stacks. These aren't all Chewy boxes. Some of them are comic book boxes because I haven't cleaned up since last week.
Since the Scroll Fire of 1985.
Yeah. Kristin, do you have pets that play on Chewy boxes or drive you crazy? I don't know.
Yes,
I'm getting to know you.
I have 2 cats. I have 3 dogs.
Oh, wow.
My cats like to play inside the boxes. My dog, he doesn't. Well, my little dogs don't pay him any attention. I have a husky. He's a rescue dog, and he just wants the toys. And he's like a really aggressive chewer in a way. He doesn't destroy my furniture or anything, but he will go through a toy like a day. So. Yeah, no, he's all about the toys, not the boxes.
Oh, yeah.
After we're done, I'm going to show you some of the toys that I've gotten from Chewy that our major chewer in the family has not been able to destroy.
Don't trust it, because she goes from packages to talking about toys, and I just think this is a trap.
Oh, my brother, how I love thee.
And we discovered I have a way to win every argument with Del now. Do you remember this?
No.
I'm going to get a little like disc thing that produces light, a burst of light on my hands. See, this is really messed up because.
No.
So yeah, Del is
Forcing me
epileptic.
into
So this is a
having
really bad,
seizures
stupid
is
thing. I
not
would actually do
fair.
this to her, but that's the new joke: is I can win every argument with just a flashlight.
Yes.
I'll quickly like Iron Man
You're-
flash her, and then it'll be.
You're a horrible human being.
I mean, I'll call an ambulance after. I'm not completely harmless.
Don't make me pay for an ambulance on top of it. Those are like $1,500.
No, I know a guy. We're cool. I got this.
Joe, go break down her door.
No,
haul
we're
her
just gonna
out
write
and give her
no
an
on your
aspirin.
skin over all your organs, just so they don't fuck something up. You know, just in case.
That's something I have a question for on the tattoos. If you have a tattooed DNR, will people actually like do EMT? That's something I should ask Mariah.
Yeah, she would probably know that. I feel like she's got a story about that. I seem to think, like, but again, I've known her since I was like 15, 16, 17, something like that. So I've heard a lot of her a lot of those stories, but I swear there was something involving something like that.
Because I know people getting them done, but I don't know if they're. I mean, if they can count it as being a legal thing or not. You know.
Yeah. It depends. I mean, was it notarized? I just feel like
Well,
you get like
does
a
the
notary
notary
that's
need to
branded
stamp it
brand
and then they
notary.
can tattoo over it, or does the notary have to actually hold the needle and sign off?
No,
on
I
it
think
or
the notary
something?
just turns their stamp into a brand, and they just brand underneath the tattoo, so you know it's legit.
If brands
And that's
will
how
do
I would
that.
do it. I mean, I don't know.
I'll ask the nurse in the morning before
this
she goes to
legal?
work. I'll
Really?
record something to show you guys.
I'll consult a
So
lawyer.
it's
I'll
like,
send an
you
email to
know-
a lawyer like sometime in the next couple of weeks just for fun and see if I get an answer back, and we'll go from there.
I'll bring it up on Reddit, and then I'll get like, well, I'll make a new account and just be like, please downvote the hell out of me on Reddit, and ask that question.
You know, finally
And
breaking
legal
down and
advice.
sending a random email to a lawyer to find out if I could be legally weakened to Bernie, like during like the first couple of days that I die, which is a goal of mine. Pointed me to all the legalese that proves that it is legitimately legal.
Well,
But only within a very certain time period, like the first. It's like after the embalming, but like the first like day or day and a half or something. It's very specific timing, because beyond a specific timing or before embalming, it's considered desecration of the dead. But if it's in a will and it's after embalming and it's in this time period, legally it's okay. And a major court case was just one about this with a rapper that was stuck in a club on a chair, like his body, like a couple
Okay,
years
so-
back.
Yeah.
What about in the countries where they have the Day of the Dead, where they actually dig up the bodies, hang
That's
out
the
with
thing, too.
them at parties, and then they put them back to rest?
Some countries have those laws that allow you. Some it's just allowed
that's
here, but in
cool as
America
shit.
legally, in most states, we can do this if it happens after embalming within a certain. I'll look at the time frame again. But they're like, listen, I don't know all the logistics of this,
I
but
mean,
here
it's
are some
like every
articles.
year they just dig them up
articles.
and put them back, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it'd be
you could
easier
very
to
well see
not-
me when I die in your neighborhood, just waving or or whatever, and and that'll be great.
What are you doing? Oh, I got it. I got Raz's hand in his will, and just
Yeah.
hi. He's waving at everybody. Have to go up to the top of the Capitol building and close my eyes and wave because it's
Have a
too
beautiful
high.
time.
It's an epoxy though, so it's okay.
Well, no, I told Fred that like when I die, dude, if the haunt's open, he's got to literally like we're gonna encase me, and we're gonna put me in glass and everything, and I'm gonna be in the queue line at the haunt. And he looks at me. He's like, I actually put a lot of thought into this. I've got a whole plan for when you die, and I'm not gonna go into the plan because it was long-winded and
Yeah, that was
super detailed. Which and he never puts like this much thought in anything. But the fact that it was only for me, it wasn't for just if anyone at the haunt died. It was only specifically for me. So I feel special. That I feel like my afterlife care is well handled. But there was some Weekend at Bernie's in there. He did allow that to be added to the list. So it'll just be at the haunt, I'll be haunting you but literally and physically.
Okay, so over 3.5 hours in now, we're gonna
you gotta make me stop.
Does anybody else does anybody have anything else that they want to talk about right now? Anything good? We covered it already?
Kristin likes turtles.
I know a lot of people who like turtles. You should. Can I invite you to the Shells Club and stuff like that, and you can join in.
She is definitely turtly enough for the Turtle Club.
There's a couple different turtles groups that I'm in. I haven't even invited you into the most recent one that I'm in.
I'm just making random shit up here. Like, I was gonna say I like turtles, but I say that all the time, and I'm looking at Kristin's like Kristin likes turtles.
And Jenny's all mute, so we can't hear anything that she's saying. Or
I was going to
Do you
send
like
you
turtles?
guys the video. Oh, I love turtles. The video that was done about that body. That I was going to go get that and put in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, that was great.
okay.
You know how many people legitimately think I like turtles? I mean, turtles are cool, but ever since that kid and that fucking newscast came out with the zombie makeup and saying I like turtles, like I saw it on like Tosh.0 in like season 1 of that or something, and ever since then, if it gets quieter, I just feel like saying that's where I go.
Okay, if you guys want to see this, we'll leave this up for a couple seconds so you can look at it. You can hop on over to our YouTube station, and when you're looking through the comments on the side on our video, you can just hit that, and it'll hot link you straight over, and you can watch the funeral concert where the body performed.
I'll put it on the main Facebook page as well.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. But yeah.
All right. So, without further ado, I would like to bid you all thank you so much for showing up for our first of the fall season shows where we did nothing but fucking squirrel our brains out a little bit. And I drank some, and
I smoked a lot.
we let Kristin and Jen speak every now and then. We're like, oh, wait, it's been an hour. You should at least get 2 minutes. Definitely.
So Jenny and Kristin have something to say about suicide.
Yeah.
Just so I can misstep that all over again. that was Dell's reaction. Like,
yeah. Okay, my cousin did it, but as it's one of those things where I'm on the thing. Religion tells you no, but how do I get out of this is the main thought. So don't forget that you can get help. You can get somewhere. There is a place to go. There's a hotline. There's a friend. And in many places, you can go find somebody to get help outside of your group of people you know. So don't forget, it's possible. There, I said something about suicide.
Thank you.
that
And
you
it was a
did.
very good thing to say.
In honor of Bob
Kristin, we're not
Barker, I
making
would
you speak about.
do my sign off by just saying, spay and neuter your friends. Oh, pets. Sorry, but I think friends is better.
I would love to, but the Catholics have told me no.
Every sperm is sacred, Jenny. Every sperm. There's a song about it.
I know.
So tomorrow night we're going to be covering Rubber on Tomb of the Terrible.
From sperm to rubber. Okay.
Check out. Well, exactly. You need that rubber in there to keep the sperm from
Don't take
going
me
too far.
Rubber
throw in
is
the
a
rabbit.
Rubber is a heartwarming movie about a tire named Robert that discovers it has psychic powers.
And sentience.
Yeah.
It's not really
That's
happy
pretty
about
good
gaining
word in it,
sentience
right
in the
somewhere.
middle of the fucking desert because it's
Yeah.
hot there and
Yeah.
it sucks. And it's like,
But
God damn
Robert's a
it,
trooper, man.
I'm a
He hangs
fucking
in there.
tire.
He goes scanners and explodes heads all over the place.
It is the best acting I have ever seen from a tire in my life.
Oh, dude, Goodyear would be so proud.
So I don't know why they like to call condoms Trojans, because they're the ones that let the little soldiers in,
Holy
and that's never made sense to me.
fuck. Before we go, I have to tell you something really quick. Because you just said something
What's
that
that?
sparked a brain dump. One time, me and my friend Draven were hanging out and bullshitting, and a friend of ours called us and said, hey, there are two people having sex in a van right underneath the security camera next to our job. Do you want to come and heckle them? And we're like, this is our opportunity. So we go over there. It's like a 5-minute drive. It's like close enough, right? So we stopped at the gas station and got a box, like with a big box of Trojan condoms, and took them all out. And we literally ran up to the van mid-act and go knock on the side of the panel, and they're opening it like half undressed, like what the fuck is going on? And we're just like, Trojan man, and we stand there, dead silence. It's awkward as fuck, and we're just grinning and holding up the condom packages. And finally, the guy just kind of face palms and shakes her head. Then she kind of like does the walk of shame from his van to get in her car. They didn't know who it was. It turned out that was their manager, and they had no idea that's who was in the car. That the female turned out to be their manager.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was just something from one of my old stand-up acts, but
Are you serious? No, we did that for
Yeah.
fun.
No, that
Only
that
once.
was one of my old jokes. But yeah. Okay. Again. Okay, now we're at 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Okay, spam your friends.
Watch us, catch us, love us, subscribe to us, like us, do everything. Click all of our links and have a great time doing everything. And also
Send me
catch
donuts.
me over at the Dorkening. When you get a chance, I'll be on Tuesdays and Wednesdays on Splash Pages and the Midweek Geeks. That's Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday's earlier than Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, check that out. It's in all the links.
And Jenny, where can we find you?
Me, I'm everywhere. I'm on Facor, I'm on Raz, I'm on Dell, I am on Owlite. I'm even on me
She's
on
on us.
Friday. Yeah, you can even find me at Friday Blue. So yeah, I'm everywhere. Just leave a message somewhere and I'll find you.
And Kristin, how can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, the usual socials, Twitter,
Yeah.
TikTok, whatever. I'm not really on too much else besides Owlite.
And that's Kristin Sikorsky at battlemaidenofthemoon.com.
Yeah,
And
and
as
all of our
usual,
links.
you can find me at your mother's house. Good night, everybody.
Night.